Wilhelm Lando. We found it. Is this the fruit you are looking for? See Circle Calendar 1503, March 15th. The first half of New World. Adjacent to the kingdom of de Ries Rosa, it is separated by a small sea area, but due to the large number of ferocious fighting fish, it is full of dangers, and ordinary people cannot easily approach it. It is on the Greenbit Peninsula covered with lush vegetation. In a lush green forest, several pitiful little elves, who were no bigger than a palm, came running over in surprise. Like offering a treasure, he sent a pure white and flawless devil fruit with strange patterns to a young and handsome silver-white figure. Oh, did you find it? The boy was dressed gorgeously and looked about 15 years old. But tall, about 2.3 meters tall, much taller than most adults. Silver-white long hair fluttered, and there was a blue vertical moon pattern on his forehead. On the spotless white casual clothes, there are exquisite patterns of red hexagonal plums. The handsome face was as sharp as a knife, and it was unbelievably handsome, and there was an indifferent breadth between the brows. The golden pupils are as sharp as a falcon. His skin is so white that it is enough to make any woman jealous. Like a noble young master, he is indescribably noble. Surprisingly, his slender, white nails are different from ordinary people, unusually sharp and sharp. Not like human nails. Instead, it looked more like the nails of some kind of beast. Around his waist, there is even a gorgeous sword inlaid with exquisite gemstones of different colors, just like a work of art. Moreover, he was accompanied by a majestic mastiff that was taller than an adult, had snow-white fluffy hair. Crouching quietly beside him. Unbelievably tame. That's right, it's this devil fruit. Charlotte Wilhelm took the pristine devil fruit and looked it over carefully. Confirmed that this devil fruit is the Paramecia healing fruit that he once recorded in the Devil Fruit illustrated book collected by the Charlotte family. Gently nodded. Thank you so much, everyone of the Dongtada clan. He is a time traveler. Now, his full name is Charlotte Wilhelm, and he is the 22nd son of the Charlotte family. It is the captain of the Big Mom pirate group, a hybrid born from the combination of the Big Pirate, Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin and a white Shiba dog fur tribe. He has the appearance of a human, but also has some characteristics of the fur tribe. Such as sharp nails, fluffy tail. I made a special trip to de Ries Rosa for this devil fruit. It's okay, it's really great to be able to help you. Thanks to you, we can drive away those pirates who came to make trouble. Since it's the fruit you're looking for, then Wilhelm Lando, hurry up and take it back to save people. Hope it really works. Hear the other person say, sincerely, thanks. A little man named Dong Tata spoke with joy. Scratching his head there, he smirked foolishly. Then I won't be polite. Wilhelm jumped lightly. Jumped onto the back of the snow-white mastiff. In order for these little people to take the initiative to find it for themselves. It took him a lot of effort to trick these little people around, and to give them some delicious snacks, so that they looked like they were on stimulants, and they kept looking for him all night these days. Now that the desired devil fruit has been found, there is no need to stay here anymore. Fingry, let's go. Step on your feet. Roar. The next moment, the snow-white mastiff exploded at a speed visible to the naked eye. The body size began to swell, and it continued to grow huge. Moreover, the forelimbs directly turned into huge and snow-white wings. Woo-hoo-hoo. The wings fluttered. There was a violent wind pressure. Under the familiar gaze of those little people, it directly carried the handsome young master soaring into the sky, and flew towards the distant sea. Thank you for your help, kind elves. Wilhelm Lando, goodbye. Welcome to come again next time. The snacks you brought are delicious. We should thank you. In the reluctant farewell of the little people of the Dongtada tribe. Wilhelm sat on Fingli and soon disappeared over Greenbit Island. Came to the neighboring kingdom of de Ries Rosa. Bolu, Bolu, the phone bug in his arms suddenly rang. Wilhelm motioned for the mastiff, Fingri, to land on the grass below. Straight to the phone bug. I'm Wilhelm. I'm Katakori, Wilhelm. The phone bug imitated a cool silhouette, and a calm and concerned voice came out. How are you doing at de Ries Rosa? Katakori big brother, it's you. Wilhelm raised an eyebrow. But he didn't reject Katakori's concern, saying, don't worry, everything is going well. Although he didn't regard Charlotte Linlin, a crazy woman with a brain problem, as his mother in his heart. But some brothers and sisters in Charlotte's family are really kind to him. Although they are only half-brothers, they don't have too many barriers in their daily relationship. Among them, Katakori, the second son of the Charlotte family, was also included. Because of this, he still has a certain sense of identity with the Charlotte family. Of course, approval and obedience are two different things. His life will never be allowed to be dominated by anyone. Not even a monster like Charlotte Linlin. Today is the wedding day between your cracker big brother and the princess of the New World Karit Kingdom. Mom specially held a grand tea party and invited many famous people. Katakuri said directly. Mom is not happy that you, the most popular, thrilling noble son, in the Charlotte family, are not here. My younger brother has always been unique and unique. He has practiced desperately since he was able to walk, and has never slacked off. He is a paranoid who is extremely arrogant in his bones and pursues power. But at the age of 15, he already possessed considerable strength. He even perfectly inherited the monster-like talent of his mother Charlotte Linlin. It is a monster, born with infinite strength and invulnerability. From the moment he was born, no matter how hard he practiced, no matter what kind of battle he fought, he honed his body in the cruel slaughter, he never suffered a single bit of injury, and came back unscathed. Although over the years, there have been quite a few siblings touting themselves as the crowning masterpiece of the Charlotte family. But Katakuri knew that he was just older, and his talent was much higher than other Charlotte family brothers and sisters, so he was stronger. Strictly speaking, the real masterpiece of the Charlotte family is not him. It's this younger brother who has the blood of both humans and fur tribes, has an extremely cold personality, and is known as the thrilling noble son. The 22nd son of the Charlotte family, Charlotte Wilhelm. It's not like you don't know about my relationship with Cracker. He tossed the paramecia healing fruit in his hand. Wilhelm's face was calm, and he said lightly, as for the mother, I will trouble Katakuri's big brother to comfort me. He has a bad relationship with Charlotte Cracker, the 10th son of the Charlotte family and one of the stars. Cracker was jealous of the talent he had perfectly inherited from Charlotte Linlin. As for him, he didn't like the cowardly posture of the other party who was so afraid of pain that he didn't even want to get an injection, hiding in the biscuit armor every day. Even if Cracker's talent is good, but such a mentality, without the heart of a strong man, how strong can he be? And how ruthless Charlotte Linlin was, Wilhelm knew very well. Even if he kills his own children with his own hands, Big Mom will never frown. Her so-called, only lies in value. I believe that he just wants to use his tremendous noble son to show off his work to those big figures in the dark world. He's not interested in being a mascot to be manipulated. By the way, the three of Smoothie and the others left the waters of Todo Land and ran out to find you. Katakuri remembered something, and added there. Remember to take good care of them. Although strictly speaking, Wilhelm's age is 1 year younger than the three sisters Smoothie, Strong, and Snayman. But Smoothie and the others are not comparable in terms of temperament or strength. Sister Smoothie has already contacted me, don't worry. I will wait for them in the first half of the Grand Line. Click. Katakuri hung up the phone. Tossing the healing fruit with strange patterns, looking pure and flawless, exuding invisible allure, it seems that people can't help but want to eat it. It's almost time to start. Wilhelm looked expectant. Pulled out the gorgeous long sword inlaid with gems at his waist. Don't let me down, natural tooth. For Charlotte Linlin arranged for her children to marry other forces to expand the power of the Big Mom pirate group. Wilhelm didn't have any mood swings. As a time traveler, he already knew the character of that woman. Selfish, cruel, violent, overbearing. In her bones, she was a ruthless woman who would never allow anyone to disobey her. All the sons and daughters of the Charlotte family are nothing but tools to realize their ambitions in the eyes of Charlotte Linlin. Especially once the eating craving occurs, and she can't get the food she wants, even if she kills her own children when she goes crazy, this crazy woman will not frown. But that has nothing to do with him. He didn't think of himself as the woman's son either. I just want to use the strength of the Charlotte family to let myself grow faster. In order to control his own destiny and prevent himself from becoming someone else's pawn, he has practiced desperately over the years and has never slacked off. If he had enough power in the future, if he would tear up his face one day, maybe he really didn't mind killing that woman directly and taking over the power of the entire Charlotte family. How can a real man be born in the heaven and earth, and live under the people for a long time? Wilhelm said to himself there. Use the ability to transfer the fruit, transfer the ability to heal the fruit to the natural teeth. Paramecia transfer fruit. This is the devil fruit that he accidentally obtained when he was cultivating on a beast island several years ago. An unreasonable, jaw-dropping bug ability. It can instantly transfer itself or any target to other positions within the line of sight or even the sensing range of observation hockey, and can also exchange itself with a certain target, or directly exchange positions between multiple targets. It belongs to the quite powerful and unsolvable space rule ability. if the opponent's own hockey is not strong enough, or is too careless. Wilhelm can even throw the target directly into the sea. Almost directly restrained most of the demon fruit power in this sea. Of course, no matter how powerful the ability is, it is impossible to be completely unlimited. There is a limit to the distance of the transferability, and the range will continue to expand as his personal strength increases. Otherwise, wouldn't it be possible to throw the enemy at the sun or the moon casually? After all, the sun and the moon can be seen directly, and strictly speaking, they are also within the line of sight. But in any case, it is undeniable that the ability to transfer fruit is amazing. Especially, with the further development of the ability to transfer fruit. Wilhelm was even able to directly transfer the demon that hadn't left in the body of the just dead demon fruit power to other targets. His pet, a mastiff named Fingry, is a zone bird fruit vulture form ability user. It was him half a year ago, when destroying the Shade Pirates. Directly from a pug in the pirate group who was lucky enough to have the bird fruit vulture form ability, and whose head was beheaded by him. Using the bug ability of transferring fruit, before its devil fruit ability was reborn randomly in a corner of the world, the demon in its body was forcibly transferred to Fingry. Kanglangling, the gorgeous blade unsheathed. It's unbelievably sharp, and the cold light is shining. There are exquisite patterns on the sharp knife body. Gemstones of various colors are inlaid on the hilt of the sword. For this sword, Wilhelm spent a lot of effort to ask Katakuri, who has always had a good relationship with him, to use the energy of the Big Mom pirates to find a famous sword made by a famous craftsman who spared no expense. Even in the 21 jobs of Dakue Dao, they can be ranked in the forefront. If one day his strength is strong enough, he might not be able to refine it into a black sword and advance it to the supreme sword. He named it as a natural tooth. It also symbolizes his unreconciled ambition. I hope I don't fail. He holds the ornate tachi. Throw that strange devil fruit up. The sharp blade directly pierced through this healing fruit. And the mastiff, Fingly, was lying there, with its beast eyes wide open, looking at it curiously. Brush. This moment. In Wilhelm's awe-inspiring golden pupils. A faint blue light flashed. Transfer. Moment. A holy light. Shining directly from above the blade. The next moment. Kai. The sharp blade tore through the atmosphere. Directly from the right leg of the mastiff Fingly, lightly stroked across. A not-so-deep hole appeared, and a little blood flowed out. Wow. But Fingly, whose hair stood on end and jumped up suddenly, had not had time to grin his teeth. The holy light spilled. On its right leg, the small wound healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. As if it had never been hurt. The scene just now was just an illusion. Wow, woof. Looking at myself. Bouncing around there. Fingly grinned at Wilhelm aggrievedly, wagging his tail. It seems to be complaining and expressing dissatisfaction. Don't be wronged, I didn't intend to really hurt you. Patting the mastiff's snow-white head to comfort him, Wilhelm chuckled softly. He looked at the gorgeous and wholly natural teeth, and was indescribably satisfied. It looks like it's a success. But as the crystal-clear light gradually dimmed, it returned to its original state and nothing seemed to have changed. But after all, it's not the ability to be eaten by living creatures. It will take some effort to use it to exert its due power and function. Putting the gorgeous blade back into the sheath, Wilhelm's eyes were burning. The first step of the natural teeth building plan has been completed, and it is almost time to start the second step. In his plan, if the natural teeth can successfully eat Paramecia healing fruit, then it is possible to proceed to the second step. It is not enough to let it have a simple healing ability. The fruit of the underworld that is rumored to be able to bring people back from the dead. Can it really open the passage between this world and the other world? Ah. Who will save me? Damn it, it's a pirate. Protecting the princess. Damn pirate, let go of Her Royal Highness, bring back Her Royal Highness. His Royal Highness Scarlet. Gia ha ha ha. This is the princess of a country, and it will definitely sell for a lot of money. How could it be returned to you? Bang, bang. Ah. Just when Wilhelm was about to leave. At the moment, in the port of de Ries Rosa. There were bursts of noisy gunfire, shouts of killing, and the arrogant laughter of the pirates echoed. A group of vicious pirates directly kidnapped Scarlet, the princess of the Liku clan of the kingdom of de Ries Rosa. However, the king's army of the Liku family is far inferior to those fierce pirates who have pinned their heads to their waists and licked blood from the edge of their knives all year round. No surprises. Under the powerful firepower of the pirates, the king's army fell one after another. A girl who was bound there, unable to move, had long pink hair and was dressed in expensive clothes, was held hostage by two fierce pirates. The little face was pale, teary, and full of horror. Some trembling. The leader of the pirate captain is full of flesh, looks fierce, tall and strong, wearing a black cloak. Surprisingly, he was wearing a dark eye patch over his left eye. Lousy is the big pirate, one-eyed, Basaro, who was offered a bounty of 55 million Baileys by Marine. One-eyed, Basaro looked at Scarlet, the handsome and extraordinary Princess de Ris Rosa, and said with a grinning grin, "Jihaha, don't expect anyone to save you. The incompetent guards of the king's army, listen to me." As he said that, he sneered and said loudly to the guards of the king's army who were covered in blood and fell on the coast, who had lost their combat effectiveness and were unable to resist, "If you want to save your princess, let King Liku prepare 1 billion shellfish, profit. I'll give you 3 days. If you don't see the money, Lousy will sell her to the celestial dragons as a slave. Little ones, get ready to set sail. Oh oh. These unscrupulous pirates." Holding up his weapon, he shouted excitedly. "And those guards who lost the power of resistance of the king's army." All of them couldn't help but their faces changed greatly, and they were furious. "My canthus is about to split. Hateful. Your Highness." However, anger doesn't change anything. They are weak and will not become stronger because of anger. They could only watch helplessly as the extremely arrogant pirates proudly took Scarlet, the eldest princess of de Ris Rosa, to board the ship and leave. "It's almost time to go." On the corner of de Ris Rosa. When Wilhelm was about to leave, he raised his head suddenly, feeling that something was peeping at him. "Huh. Violet, are you abusing your ability to peek again?" His face was indifferent, as if not surprised. Half a person's height, the snow-white mastiff with fluffy hair directly transformed into a huge and majestic eagle vulture. Carrying Wilhelm, who jumped on its back, it was about to fly up. Who? Who? A pretty-looking little girl about 12 years old with short brown-black hair ran over, sweating profusely. There he gasped and yelled, "Wait a minute, Wilhelm, big brother." She looked anxiously, looking at the handsome and stalwart young man, full of pleading. "My sister Scarlet was captured by pirates, can you help me rescue her?" "That has nothing to do with me." Wilhelm looked down at the little girl, without any fluctuation. "I have no obligation to save your sister. Although I once wanted to use your Paramecia gazing fruit ability to find devil fruit, it's a pity that you didn't help me find it, and we don't have such a deep friendship." A few days ago, when he came to de Ris Rosa, once discovered the little princess of the Liku family who ate the ability of the Paramecia dangtang fruit. In the first contact with the other party, except that Violet accidentally discovered him while using her ability to observe the outside world, and ran out to strike up a conversation. In addition, I want to use the ability of the other party's Paramecia gazing fruit to see if I can find the devil fruit I want. But unfortunately, although the Paramecia staring fruit gave Violet supervision and quite good insight, it has not been able to help him find the Paramecia healing fruit these days. Instead, the little human race of Dong Tata helped him find it. How could this be? Violet was stunned. She couldn't bear to look away from the strange-looking handsome guy, who was so handsome that she couldn't bear to look away, and her heart skipped a beat. These days, she often secretly peeped at each other's silver-haired boy with his abilities. "Wait a minute." Big black eyes filled with tears. Grieved, Violet bravely said to Wilhelm, "As for devil fruit, I have already found one, although it may not be the one you want." She said. Busily took out a devil fruit less than half the size of a fist, black oval with strange patterns, from his pocket. "Interesting. I have to admit that your girl's ability is indeed useful." Wilhelm raised an eyebrow, a little surprised. Looking at Violet, he nodded calmly. "In this case, then this devil fruit belongs to me. As a deal, I will help you save your sister." "Wow, that would be great." Tears welled up in her eyes, and Violet, who was pouted there, couldn't help but be overjoyed. Full of surprises, she looked at the handsome young man in front of her who was full of extravagance, so that even the little princess of de Ris Rosa couldn't help but feel ashamed. "Brush. There is a flower in front of my eyes." In an instant, Violet suddenly appeared in front of Wilhelm. The next moment, the waist tightened. In a blink of an eye, he was taken by the other party. Skimmed to the top of the majestic giant eagle. "Hold on tight." Before she had time to react, she almost stumbled and fell, and subconsciously hugged the spacious and warm embrace tightly. The big watery eyes looked at Wilhelm's cool face, which was so close at hand, like a sharp knife. Pretty face turned red. Some dare not look at them. Clutching the corner of his clothes with his little hands, he lowered his head shyly. Zone Chong Chong fruit unicorn fairy form? Wilhelm ignored Violet's little thoughts. At some point, he had already grabbed the black oval devil fruit in his hand and weighed it. According to the devil fruit illustrated book recorded in his mind, he identified its type. Shrugged indifferently. Talk is better than nothing. Where is the direction? Wilhelm let go of Violet and asked calmly. Her face flushed slightly, and Violet, who was dizzy, came to her senses and hurriedly pointed to the direction of the port. Over there, their pirate ship hasn't had time to leave yet. Gee. The mastiff, Fingley, who turned into a vulture, let out a howl. It directly flapped its wings and blew up an astonishing wind pressure, which almost made Violet unsteady. If Wilhelm hadn't stretched out his hand to grab her, she might have fallen right away. Woohoo! The huge snow-white eagle rushed directly into the distance. Soon came to the port of Doris Rosa, which was surrounded by boulders and guarded in all directions, acting as a natural barrier. Gee ha ha. It's a beautiful vote. Hey, long live Captain Barassa, I didn't expect these king's army to be so vulnerable. Little ones, let's go, wait for 3 days and collect the ransom later. No mistake, it's those pirates. My sister is on that pirate ship. Violet puts her hands upside down in an OK position, activating the ability of Paramecia gazing fruit and looking at it. Soon, he found that his sister Scarlet's face was pale, and her whole body was tied up on the pirate ship by Woohooada. Roar. The huge Fingali flapped its wings. Incomparably ferocious, it swooped down directly towards the pirate ship. That's it. There is a situation. The captain of the one-eyed pirates, One-Eyed, Basaro, is standing on the high platform at the bow of the ship, imagining the bright future after using the hostages to trade with the Liku royal family of Doris Rosa for 1 billion ransom. But when he was surprised by the sudden huge raptor, his expression changed. Gripping the blade tightly, he became vigilant. Gee, in a blink of an eye. The majestic giant white eagle flew directly over the pirate ship. There it circled and landed. Brush. Snow Mastiff Fingley's back. Wilhelm, with a blank face, looked at the girl with long pink hair who was tied to the mast by 5 flowers, wearing a princess dress, and slightly moved his right hand. Swipe, sound. The girl who was originally bound there suddenly disappeared. In the empty place, only the rope that should have been tied to his body remained. And Scarlet appeared on top of the huge eagle in an instant, and was embraced by Wilhelm. For a moment, her eyes were full of tears, and she was a little dazed in fear. The brain is a little blank, unable to react. Zhang Xiaoko, unable to speak, the next moment. These pirates were all stunned, and before they had time to say anything, Wilhelm's eyes froze. A touch of stunning scarlet flashed and disappeared. The invisible fluctuation suddenly spread. Plop, plop. Without warning. A murderous pirate with a sword in his hand. His eyes turned white, and he passed out. One after another, they fell on the deck. The huge hawk landed on the deck. 2 figures jumped down. Why did these pirates suddenly faint? Tightly pulling the corner of Wilhelm's clothes, Violet, who witnessed the whole scene, widened her pupils. He stared blankly at the pirates who suddenly lost consciousness and fell there. Some couldn't believe their eyes. Damn it, it's Conqueror's hockey. The staggering, one-eyed, Basaro braced his body, looking in disbelief at the silver-haired boy who was led by an unbelievably young man with a cold face and a noble temperament. His face was pale, and he cried out, "You are." As a bounty of 55 million Baileys, a pirate who has been hanging out in New World for many years. Although he is just a lowly character in the New World where there are so many powerful people, he is not without knowledge. Also heard of Conqueror's hockey? Oh? Can you still stand up? Wilhelm glanced at him with a flat face, and flicked his right hand. Who? The extremely sharp nails tore through the atmosphere. Visible to the naked eye, the blood blade the size of a fingernail is as fast as a bullet, and shoots out directly. It pierced through his chest in an instant. There was a splash of blood. Ah! With a shrill scream, one-eyed, Basaro's tall body fell powerlessly in a pool of blood. The vitality in the body is constantly being lost. His eyes widened, and he looked in horror at the gorgeous silver-haired boy who was extremely cold, majestic and inviolable, and could not be underestimated. It seems that some can't believe it, and it is full of unwillingness and despair. His eyes gradually dimmed. What, looking at these fallen pirates? Whether it is Sister Violet or Sister Scarlet, it seems like a dream. Some couldn't believe that these vicious pirates were dealt with like this. But the 2 princesses of the kingdom of Doris Rosa have yet to say anything. I just feel a blur in front of my eyes. It has been used by Wilhelm with the ability of Paramecia to transfer fruit directly to the coast. Your Highness, His Royal Highness Viola. Very good. The guards of the king's army present couldn't help but be overjoyed. There were also reinforcements rushing over, all shouting there. Shocked and inexplicably looking at the pirate ship in front of him, that cruel young man who cannot be underestimated. Wilhelm Big Brother. Looking at the stalwart silver-white figure on the pirate ship. Violet's eyes widened, subconsciously screaming there. Wilhelm. Is he the one you mentioned, my sister? Scarlet stared blankly at the unbelievably handsome, gorgeously dressed, and unattainably elegant young man. The watery eyes were full of disbelief. Violet had told her once that these days she knew a very special boy who was too handsome. At that time, she didn't care about it, she was afraid that the girl would be cheated, so she reprimanded her sister a few words. I didn't expect it to be true. Thinking of being hugged by that warm and spacious chest just now, she couldn't help but blushed a little. Since the transaction is completed, I should leave. The silver hair fluttered with the sea breeze. Standing on fingers back, Wilhelm said flatly to Violet without looking back. This is a world where the weak are preyed upon by the strong. The weak cannot protect anything. Don't always think about relying on others. If you are really determined, try to change yourself. Be strong. Paramecia's ability to stare at the fruit, I believe it will never be so weak that it is useless. Otherwise, until you lose everything, sooner or later you will regret it. As he spoke, he stepped on his foot. Woo. The mastiff dog Fingley, flapping his wings directly from the pirate ship. No more lingering. Without hesitation, he flew high into the distance. At an astonishing speed, they disappeared from the sight of Scarlet, the two sisters Violet and the guards of the king's army. Wilhelm Big Brother. Violet, who was only 12 years old, was stunned. When we first met a few days ago, Wilhelm did casually mention to her about the direction of the future development of the fruit ability. But at that time, she felt that what the other party said was too difficult, too far-fetched. I have never paid much attention to it. Wait, I haven't thanked you yet. The pear blossoms were raining, and Scarlet, whose tears were still wet, held her little hands and cried out reluctantly. In the depths of the eyes, there is an indescribable admiration, rippling with splendor. However, no further response was received. Fingley had already carried Wilhelm into the sky. Sister, don't shout anymore. Violet clenched her pink fist and said softly in frustration, we and him are not in the same world. Looking at the giant eagle that was getting further and further away, it was almost invisible. Her reluctant gaze gradually became firm. Secretly made up his mind. Viola. Scarlet stared blankly at her sister. I just feel that at this moment, she has become inexplicably mature, strong, and unfamiliar. Where are the pirates? Your Highness, we are here to save you. At this time, a tall and strong figure clad in the armor of a sword fighter. With a lot of guards from the king's army, it was long overdue. Ah. It's Lord Cyrus, the army commander. Master Cyrus, you are one step too late, these pirates have already been defeated. Her Royal Highness has also been rescued. Really? That would be great. Hearing the news that the princess had been kidnapped, Cyrus, who was in a state of disquiet and rushed to rescue him, was stunned. Seeing the eldest Princess Scarlet who was safe and sound, staring blankly at the distant sea, and the little Princess Violet who appeared here for some reason, she was full of surprise. But soon come back to God. Regardless of asking directly, he suppressed the doubts in his heart and ordered loudly, come on, catch these pirates quickly. Woohoo, over the sea. The silver noble young master stood firmly on top of the soaring eagle and vulture. Hair fluttering, clothes fluttering. He looked into the distance, and took out a life card that specifically pointed to the Saboti archipelago in the first half of the Grand Line. Looking at the life card that was slowly moving in the palm of his hand, he pointed out the direction. It can't be wrong, if you continue to move in that direction, it should be the red line. As a member of the Charlotte family, especially the little monster, who perfectly inherited the monster-like talent of Big Mom Charlotte Linlin. He has a special status and is highly valued on weekdays. Even that woman, Charlotte Linlin, had high hopes for him, a gifted 22 son. It is not a problem to get the life card leading to the Saboti archipelago. It's a pity, if that girl can have the desire to become stronger, work harder. He looked back at Doris Rosa, who was almost out of sight, and shook his head indifferently. Perhaps Paramecia, the ability to stare at the fruit, can really develop something famous. Strictly speaking, Paramecia's ability to stare at the fruit is still very powerful. Not only can it have beyond horizon vision, but it also has the ability to see through and read minds. Moreover, the future violet can also make tears proliferate and flow out and condense into any shape. At the same time, it can instantly harden the tears like steel, and maintain a high heat posture to attack opponents in a wide range. This means that Paramecia Staring Fruit is not a single auxiliary ability. It is completely possible to develop the ability to attack. For example, a large number of hot tears with a hardness comparable to steel were turned into a huge armor titan and so on. In the final analysis, the use of abilities depends on the person with the ability. If possible, he really hoped to see it. A Uchiha Violet appears. The first half of the Grand Line. In a misty, sunless sea. A huge eagle with white plumage and feathers carried a silver-white figure, flapping its wings high in the sky. Patrolling back and forth in this sea area. This is the legendary Magic Triangle Sea Area. It is surrounded by black mist all the year round, so dark that the sun cannot shine in. It is said that many ships lose their way here every year and cannot find their way out. From time to time, one or two old and dilapidated ghost ships can be seen drifting in this sea area. It adds a bit of gloom and terror to this dark sea area. Yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho ho, yo ho ho ho. Binks fine wine, I don't know when. A burst of singing came from the depths of the dark sea. Some people can't help but stand up. Creepy. The musician of the Rumba Pirates, nose singer, Brook, finally found it? Looking down at the pirate flag hanging below, some dilapidated ghost ships drifting aimlessly in this sea area. Wilhelm, who was sitting on the back of the snowmastiff Fingley in the form of a vulture, let him search the sea area back and forth, and noticed that the one above was jumping around alive and full of strange skeletons. His eyes flickered. 3 days ago, he crossed the red line directly and didn't stay. Instead, it went directly through the Sabodi archipelago and came to this magic triangle. It has been searching for 3 full days in this sea area. Finally found the whereabouts of the nose song man, Brook, who ate the fruit of the underworld. The next moment, his pupils flashed. The whole person disappeared on Finger's back in an instant. It flew directly to the pirate ship of the Rumba Pirates, which was full of potholes and pits. The rudder was damaged and it could no longer steer the direction. Dilapidated deck. A skeleton with an afro in a tuxedo leaned against the side of the ship. He was humming and humming, Binks wine, which was widely circulated in this sea and was loved and sought after by pirates. However, all of a sudden, I felt a blur in front of my eyes. In front of him, a silver-white figure unexpectedly appeared out of thin air. However, he opened his scary teeth wide and stared at the picturesque handsome young man in front of him. Flying blade and bloodclaw. Wilhelm looked grim. He didn't mean to talk nonsense to Brook at all, and shot directly. Who? He turned his fingers into claws and grabbed them out suddenly. The extremely sharp, beast-like nails pierced through the air in an instant. The 5 sharp blood-colored claw strikes were as fast as lightning, directly tearing apart Brook's extremely fragile body that had already turned into a skeleton. Boom. A large piece of the ship's side was easily torn and pierced. Shocking claw marks were left. Thump. A pile of battered skeletons. It fell straight down and piled up there. Wait a minute. I'm not a ghost. Please don't kill me. The sudden change made Brook, or the skull, who had lost his mobility, shouted there. Oh? It's destroyed like this, hasn't it really died yet? Charlotte Wilhelm raised an eyebrow. Gorgeous natural teeth, straight out of the sheath. The fruit of the underworld is not the power you should have. Without any hesitation, it pierced Brook's skull in an instant. Moreover, these skeletons were completely shaken into powder. Ability transfer. His eyes shone with a dazzling blue light. A strange light shrouded the gorgeous blade of natural fang. A crystal clear, delicate blue gemstone inlaid on the hilt of the sword, shining brightly. Did you make it? Look at the natural teeth that don't seem to have changed in any way. Not only was Charlotte Wilhelm not disappointed, but she chuckled in satisfaction. If we say that the one who ate the Paramecia healing fruit earlier was the natural toothblade itself. Then eat that Paramecia Yongchong fruit now. It is an extremely hard and indestructible gemstone inlaid on the hilt of the sword. From this moment, the true healing knife, natural teeth. Perfection was born. In this way, the real natural teeth are almost complete. Caressing the exquisitely patterned and extremely sharp blade of natural fang, Wilhelm said to himself there, theoretically, if the ability of the fruit of the underworld can be perfectly developed, it can directly open the passage to the underworld, and even lead to the underworld in that world. Cold air, even the soul is not impossible. If it cooperates with the ability of Paramecia healing fruit, it might not be possible to truly bring people back to life. But that's only theoretical. According to his vision, if the ability of Paramecia healing fruit can be perfectly combined with the ability of Paramecia Wangchen fruit, it may not be impossible to bring people back from the dead. But whether it can be done, Wilhelm is not sure. To really master this unique knife, perfectly develop the devil fruit ability it already has, he still needs time to keep trying and verifying. Moreover, the ability of Wangchen fruit, but it can directly restrain the soul fruit ability of that woman Charlotte Linlin. This will be a big reliance for him to fight against Big Mom in the future. Next, to what extent the power of this natural tooth can be exerted depends on the destiny. Brush. The next moment, Wilhelm disappeared on the ghost ship. When it reappeared, it had already returned to Fingley, who was about to circle down in the sky. Let's go. The next destination is Aska Island. Return natural teeth to sheaths. Sitting on Fingley's back, Wilhelm ordered directly. Hey. Fingley, who turned into a giant eagle, responded excitedly. Flapping its wings directly there, a strong hurricane blew up. Fly away towards the distant sea. The legendary cursed demon sword, don't let me down. Half a day later. On the boundless sea. One of the hulls was a little black, and it was 50 or 60 meters long. On the thick and towering mast above, there is a black skull flag. The white skull was pierced by 2 crossed knives. The pirate, Pug, Glass Dooley with a bounty of 58 million Baileys, the Dooley pirates with more than 100 people under his command. Thousands of meters high in the sky, huge eagles flutter their wings and soar high. Gorgeous robes and long silver white hair fluttering in the air, he is as majestic as a nobleman and cannot be offended. Holding the binoculars and observing the pirate ships several miles away, Wilhelm chuckled softly. It's just right, it's just to test how far the natural teeth ability that I just figured out can reach. Also, remember that guy, Pug, Dooley should be an ability user? He's always had an idea. Since through Paramecia the ability to transfer fruit, the ability of devil fruit can be transferred to dead objects, so that dead objects can eat devil fruit in a disguised form and become non-living body abilities. So, if you cut off the bone of the capable person, let it eat the devil fruit ability, and then connect it back, what kind of effect will it have? Will there be 2 devil fruit abilities? Now that he has the opportunity to verify, Wilhelm will naturally not let it go. Although I feel that there is little hope, I am still eager to try. Miles and miles away, on a large black pirate ship, a tall, strong, and fierce-looking Pug Dooley, who was offered a bounty of 58 million Baileys by naval headquarters, stood on the high platform at the bow of the ship and shouted at the pirates. The banquet is over, wine. I've already drank it too. You trash, cheer me up and see if you can make a vote today. Captain, there seems to be movement ahead, at this time. On the observation platform on the mast, one of them was looking at the sea with the binoculars in his hand, while the daily patrolling pirates yelled at Pug Dooley below. What's the situation? Pug Dooley was startled. He hurriedly looked at the sea ahead, and suddenly saw a white spot above the sea in the distance. Somewhat vague. Looks like a vulture? Seeing the distant sky gradually become clear, the huge eagle that was flying towards them, the pirate couldn't help being a little startled. In this sea, is there such a big raptor? It was the first time seeing him. He has seen many huge sea kings. A giant eagle, in other words, this size is too big. Dooley took out a binoculars from his pocket to observe, then frowned and said in surprise, and it seems to be rushing towards us. Captain, there seems to be someone on the eagle's back. As the observer above said, he opened his mouth in disbelief, and was a little stunned and observed with the binoculars. What? At this time Dooley also found out. Looking at the silver-white figure on the giant eagle's back, his sinister eyes couldn't help but focus. Encountering such a strange combination in this sea is really a bit surprising. Hey, it's not coming for us, is it? This is the first time I've seen such a big bird. I don't know how it tastes. Don't this guy know the pirate flag of our Dooley pirates? He came here to find fault? All around, dozens of pirates gathered, but without the slightest fear or worry. Instead, each of them showed a bit of anticipation and excitement, a little arrogance and wantonness, showing cruel and cold smiles. These pirates all exude a murderous aura, fierce and fierce. Obviously they are all ruthless characters who have seen blood and kill without blinking an eye. A bird of prey with an exaggerated size really can't scare them, let alone the other party is only one person. Crazy. Soon, The huge eagle flew directly over the pirate ship. Before those pirates could speak first, the silver-white figure flew down directly. Call out. A cold light flashed. The gorgeous and sharp Tai Dao danced wildly. Ah! Several bloody human heads flew up. A string of blood spattered directly on the surrounding pirates, catching them off guard. Ah! The huge eagle vulture shrank its body sharply. Just in the blink of an eye, it turned into an extremely ferocious beast with a pair of snow-white wings, but with the head and body of a mastiff, and a thick snow-white mane. Some ferocious bloody mouths are full of chilling sharp teeth. It looks like the legendary monster with bird's wings and a lion's body, a griffin. What? The white animal shadow suddenly flashed. He jumped directly on a pirate who couldn't react in time. The sharp teeth bit off the pirate's throat in an instant. Incomparably brutal. Court death. Damn bastard. So bold. Kill them. The sudden upheaval made the faces of these pirates change wildly, and they all yelled in shock and anger. They waved their weapons furiously. Killed Wilhelm and the snow mastiff Fingley, who remained in the griffin form. Let's use you to try the knife. Wilhelm looked indifferent, holding his natural teeth. The faint blue gemstone on the hilt shone with a strange brilliance. An astonishingly cold air permeated the entire sword body, and the surrounding temperature dropped sharply. People can't help being shivering from the cold, having a cold war. The coldness of Wangchen. Ah! Rough sea. Accompanied by extremely shrill screams. A large pirate ship was instantly covered with a layer of icy slag that was braving the cold air. Was directly frozen. Above. A pirate with different names and frightened faces. Before they could dodge in time, they were frozen into ice sculptures. The cold air from the underworld. The effect is not bad. The blade was filled with cold air, shining with a bright cold light. Looking at the natural teeth in his hand, Wilhelm showed a satisfied smile, and said to himself, sure enough, even if it is the same ability, it still depends on who uses it. Wearing a white casual outfit with a pattern of hexagonal plums, it is spotless. Her long silver hair fluttered gently in the wind, her temperament was indescribably noble, and her majesty was inviolable. Crack, click. Wooze. The leader of the pirate captain who was frozen there moved a little. The bone-chilling icicles covering his body continuously shattered and fell off at a speed visible to the naked eye. Bastard, how dare. How dare you take Laozi's companions? He looked around at his companions who had been frozen into ice sculptures and lost their breath of life, his eyes were tearing apart. Huh. You can still resist the freezing cold of Wangchen, you are not bad. Wilhelm sized him up and chuckled, the captain of the Dooley pirates with a bounty of 58 million Baileys, pug, glass Dooley. Why, our Dooley pirates didn't provoke you at all. His bloodshot eyeballs were extremely red, Glass Dooley stared at Wilhelm, and asked loudly through gritted teeth. Is this your first day as a pirate? You don't even have the awareness. Looking down at the pug, Dooley in front of him, Wilhelm said sarcastically, in the world of pirates, there are so many why. If you lose, you will die. If you want to blame you for appearing in my sniper range. He just wanted to find a demon fruit power to do an experiment, to verify a certain guess in his mind. The other party delivered it to the door by himself. Wong, a bark. His whole body keeps expanding. It has thick dog hair, ferocious teeth, and extremely sharp claws. Turned into a human-shaped pug, lost his mind, and yelled hysterically, "Bastard, I can't spare you." Boom. He looks like a ferocious beast, grasping the ground with 4 claws. With a violent leap, he lunged at Wilhelm with astonishing speed, fury and murderous intent. The incomparably sharp claws ruthlessly grabbed that unbelievably handsome face. Brush. For a moment. A cold light flashed. Silver-white long hair flutters. Gorgeous figure, standing proudly. Wilhelm, who appeared behind pug Dooley in an instant, had a calm and stern face without any change. The whole person retracted the knife lightly. One sword-style swallowtail slash, Kang Lang Lang. Without warning. At the moment when the gorgeous blade was sheathed. Ah. Glass Dury, who was transformed into a human beast form, froze there as if frozen in place, screamed. On his chest. A scarlet blood splashed. I don't know when a shocking, bone-deep wound appeared. Blood dripping. His eyes were wide open, with disbelief, and he murmured, "So fast." Crashed to the ground. Wilhelm looked down and passed out. Pug, Dooley restored to his original form. He directly took out the bug fruit, devil fruit in the form of a unicorn fairy, obtained from Violet. since the ability of devil fruit can be transferred to dead objects. Then if you cut off the limbs of the ability user, let it eat the new devil fruit ability, and then connect them back perfectly. Will the two demons clash, and the capable person will explode and die, or will he gain new abilities? Or another ability is directly ineffective, but nothing will happen to the experimenter's ability? Let you verify it. He looked down at Dooley the pug. The right hand with sharp nails slashed like lightning. Hey! A broken arm flew up. The incomparably sharp blade pierced through the devil fruit in the form of the worm fruit, the unicorn fairy, in an instant. The tip of the knife pierced the severed arm again. Some cruel and bloody brush. A faint blue light shines, covering the gorgeous blade and the bloody severed arm. The next moment, the broken arm changed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Tentacles grew out, and sharp horns emerged. It turned into an arm-shaped, creepy, unicorn-shaped weird creature. Dazed and wide-eyed, he began to crawl there. But soon, the sharp blade unceremoniously picked up the bloody, pitch-black tentacles, and the obedient unicorn's severed arm was joined to the left arm of the unconscious pug, Dooley. Chi. Chi. The creepy unicorn struggled there. But Wilhelm's eyes hardened. A stream of Conqueror's hockey is released. Directly forcibly frightened it. Cure. He squinted. Holding the gorgeous handle, he swung it out. Brush. The natural teeth directly shone with a holy and soft brilliance. Slashed directly through the bloody fracture. Take the arm that ate the insect fruit and the unicorn form. Force the opponent to continue. Boom, boom. On the sea. No sign. A body flew out like lightning, like a huge human bomb. It exploded violently and turned into blood mist. No bones remained. Woo-oh. The wind was raging, and the waves were raging. This sudden and terrifying scene was really inexplicably horrifying, and my scalp tingled. Did it really fail? Sensing the crisis at the first time, he activated the ability to transfer fruit in a flash, and transferred pug Dooley to the sea surface, avoiding the exploding Wilhelm. Looking at the floating blood mist, he shook his head there. Two completely different demons collided, and the capable person himself exploded. But he wasn't too disappointed, because I didn't have much hope. After all, if it is so easy to become a lot of demon fruit power, that Marshall D. Teach, who is still dormant in the Whitebeard Pirates, waiting for an opportunity, will not become the unprecedented first double demon fruit power. What he could think of, the scholars of the Grand Line may not have thought of it. Especially Dr. Vegapunk, a genius scientist who claims to surpass the current human intelligence by 500 years in the Marine Science Corps under the world government. It's just that at present, Dr. Vegapunk may not have mastered the technology that can directly allow non-living objects such as weapons to eat devil fruit. And when the Marine Science Corps possesses such technology, it is impossible for the world government not to make relevant attempts in this regard. But in the future trajectory, if there are two or more demon fruit powers, from the beginning to the end, there is only one with a special body structure, and it can even be said to be alien, and even Marshall D. Teach who does not need to sleep every day. Such a result was also within his expectation. Hey! Midair, the snow mastiff Fingley, who had turned into a vulture form, stretched its long sharp beak towards Wilhelm, screaming uncontrollably. Just when the two devils collided, an explosion was inevitable. Its uncontrollable hairs stand on end, inexplicably restless. Instinctively transformed from the original griffin form into a huge hawk, flapping its wings and rushing to the sky immediately. Brush. A silver-white figure flashed. Wilhelm skimmed directly onto its back. Let's go. He searched the pirate ship earlier. No devil fruit was found. Only a small amount of treasure. However, a nautical chart was found. Is it rumored that Zhenshu Island has the secret to becoming a king? Interesting. Located on the first half of the Grand Line, there is a special rare animal island, also known as Crown Island. It is rumored that there is a mysterious power there, and it is said that there is a secret to becoming a king. Of course, Wilhelm is well aware. The so-called secret to becoming a king is actually the pair of golden horns on the head of Qilin, the king of rare beasts, on the Crown Island. It is rumored that its power is entirely stored in its horns. However, he was very interested in the Qilin lion. Roar. There were roars of beasts. Guided by the nautical chart, after several days of unremitting search, Wilhelm finally arrived at his destination. Stopped at the coast of this legendary rare animal island. But it was immediately surrounded by countless ferocious birds and beasts. Is this the legendary Crown Island? Looking around, Wilhelm looked indifferent. The figure flashed, and rushed out like lightning. The violent fist slammed fiercely at the giant elephant headed by it. Bang! The huge elephant trunk swung over, collided with the unequal fist. But the next moment, the elephant was howling and its trunk was dripping with blood. It was huge and cumbersome, but Wilhelm suddenly grabbed its right leg and picked it up. He threw it fiercely into the distance. Roar! The elephant wailed as it fell heavily to the ground and couldn't get up. A large cloud of smoke and dust filled the air. Wilhelm is surprisingly fast. In the blink of an eye, it appeared beside a giraffe like a ghost. Hey! The index finger with extremely sharp nails flashed a cold light, shot out like a bullet, and directly penetrated the giraffe's forehead. Blood dripping, bloody incomparable, makes the scalp tingle. Ho ho! The lions, monkeys, tigers and other beasts present were enraged. Reluctantly, he rushed forward. Bite, hit, grab Wilhelm. Don't get in the way. Wilhelm's eyes froze. Ohm. Ohm. A terrifying wave spread out in an instant. One after another, the beasts turned their eyes white, lost consciousness one after another, and fell there. At this time, there was a loud roar through the air. The ferocious breath could not stop permeating. In the distance, there is a huge lion with golden horns and huge wings. The majestic beast roars and gallops towards it. Interesting. Seeing the giant rushing towards him, with its gleaming golden horns and eye-catching horns, Wilhelm said calmly, "Is that the golden king of this island?" Roar. The Qilin-like beastmaster with golden horns roared angrily, full of oppression. Come galloping with wings. The violent hurricane raged endlessly. It's surprisingly fast. Unexpectedly, the griffin Fingli, who was careless for a moment and had no time to dodge, was sent flying. Hit the other side of the mountain wall. Human, why did you hurt my people? The golden beast king spit out words. He stared angrily at Wilhelm in front of him. Oh, can you still talk? Looking at the golden beast king, Wilhelm was a little surprised. Sorry, he said flatly, I just want to borrow the golden horn on your head, can you please hand it over obediently? Is it really because of the crown? Don't think about it. The golden beast king was furious. With 4 hoofs stamped, he rushed over. The pair of golden horns shone dazzlingly. An unimaginable force suddenly erupted, causing the ground to collapse. Roar! The embarrassed Fingli ran over. There was a bloody mouth open there, and the scarlet eyes were full of ferocity. The sharp teeth were ferocious, and they bit the golden beast king who was coming straight. It's unbelievably ferocious. Boom! Catch! Catch! The earth crumbled. The incomparable violent power is shocking. 2 ferocious beasts with astonishing strength were in a stalemate there. The strong wind raged, and the rocks sputtered away. One is a snow mastiff selected by Wilhelm and endowed with the bird fruit vulture form ability. One end is the king of this rare beast island, blessed with the power of the golden crown. For a while, the fight was evenly matched. It actually blocked Fingli. Wilhelm squinted his eyes. Fingerly couldn't gain the upper hand, which shows the strength of this Qilin lion. The mysterious power on the golden crown is indeed extraordinary. Bang! Boom! 2 huge figures. It was constantly attacking violently there. They all have the ability to fly, and Finger, who is in the shape of a griffin, fought with the winged Qilin lion from the earth to the sky. It was unbelievably intense. Brush, but at this moment, the golden beast king roared. The pair of golden horns shone dazzlingly. That's in Wilhelm's surprised and inexplicable eyes. The dazzling golden ball of light contained violent power. Ohm! Came out from the horns of the golden beastmaster. The incomparably hot ball of light made the inexplicable hairs stand on end. It shot out like lightning. He slammed fiercely at Fingli on the opposite side. Boom! The griffin, who was caught off guard, was blown away by the energy light ball. Hit the rear. A small mountain peak was smashed to pieces. Large and small gravel are splashed. Smoke and dust filled the air. He was in a mess and covered in blood. The body also had scorched black marks and was smoking. It's amazing. Staring at the proud Qilin lion. Wilhelm's eyes were burning, and the corners of his mouth were raised, not caring about his power at all. How terrifying is the talent and strange power perfectly inherited from Charlotte Linlin. 5-year-old solo killing Al Buff, the elder of the Titan clan. Although there are reasons such as the opponent's old age and physical decline, but holding the beard of Waterfall Beard, Jorel, the world's oldest fighter, with a body height of more than 20 meters, can easily knock him down and inflict heavy damage. But real. Moreover, when Charlotte Linlin was a child, She could break the bones of a giant, rough-skinned and thick-skinned titan with just a single mosquito. There is no doubt that the monster-like power has far surpassed that of ordinary titans. Wilhelm, who also has the same copper skin and iron frame, is born with strange strength. Although he has just turned 15 years old, he obviously cannot be guessed according to common sense. Not to mention, he has been practicing unremittingly for many years, and he has never slacked off in torturing his body, and his strength has long been so terrifying that it is unimaginable. It is far from being comparable to Charlotte Linlin, who was too obsessed with food and other appetites at the same time, did not deliberately practice, and somewhat wasted her talent. Swipe. With a slight pressure on his feet, he rushed out like a prehistoric beast out of its cage. Lightning fast. He didn't even use the ability to transfer the fruit. In an instant, the whole person appeared directly in midair. The right hand clenched into a fist, accumulating strength there. The fist print crushed the atmosphere like lightning. Even armament hockey was useless. Relying on terrifying physical strength alone, he suddenly slammed into the head of the Qilin lion that was about to flap its wings and fly into the air, and there was no time to dodge. Boom. Roar, a powerful blow. Let the great Qilin lion howl. The huge animal body slammed into the ground. The ground was torn apart by the shock, rocks were splashed, and dust was flying. It fell there, its skull collapsed, blood dripping, shocking. The blood stained the ground red, his body trembled unnaturally, and he could no longer struggle. Already lost the power to resist. Kai. The next moment. A cold light flashed. The sharp blade pierced directly down. With the frightening coldness of the underworld, it deprived it of its vitality. Is this the golden horn that can become a king, if you eat it? With one hand, those dazzling golden horns were pulled out bloody from the head of the beastmaster. Throw it to Fingli, who fell down and got up with a grin. Wilhelm ordered directly to it. Fingri, eat its golden horn. Roar. Fingli walked over with pause, looking at the bloody golden horn thrown on the ground. Without hesitation, he opened his mouth with sharp teeth and bit down hard. Caw caw caw. Ah. In a blink of an eye. The dazzling light is extremely dazzling. The already tall body actually swelled up again. It became even more astonishing, and the ground was cracked. The snow-white fur became thicker, and the aura was astonishingly violent. Roar. Fingoli growled in pain. Golden horns grew directly from the top of its head. Dazzling. Feel the power brought by the golden horn. Roar. Fingli roared excitedly, looking extremely ferocious. The golden horn shone brightly. The next moment. It leaps high. A pair of golden horns are dazzling. It slammed into the ground violently and violently. Boom. The whole land. In an instant, it fell apart and collapsed. Kacha kacha. And, it couldn't stop spreading. In a flash, he appeared directly on Finger's back. It's not bad, it didn't disappoint me at all. Wilhelm chuckled as he looked at the collapsed land. Clatter. Boom. Thunder and lightning flashed in the downpour. Thumb-sized raindrops kept hitting the turbulent sea surface, splashing pieces of water. Hey! In the dark high sky, a huge eagle with golden horns on one head, fluttered its wings and flew high, heading forward against the huge torrential rain. The gusts of headwind made it hard for people to keep their eyes open. However, it's like being able to teleport. It was terribly fast. Keep flashing. Disappears every time. When it reappears, it will appear directly hundreds of meters away. Also, because of that intensive downpour, it didn't have much impact on it. Not even its feathers were completely wet. Fingri, can you hold on? Her shoulder-length silver hair was a little wet. Standing on the back of Fingli transformed into a vulture form, Wilhelm constantly activated the ability to transfer fruits, leading Fingli to teleport at an astonishing speed, wanting to leave this harsh sea area as soon as possible. At this moment, he had already taken off his drenched clothes, revealing a strong body, a little embarrassed. The pieces are not exaggerated, but the muscles are extremely solid and knotted, with sharp edges and corners, full of a strong sense of strength. One man and one beast have been driving on this sea for 3 days. Wilhelm was back when he passed the Sabodi archipelago. I have already purchased one of the destinations of this trip, the permanent pointer of Aska Island. Originally, at the flying speed of Snowmastiff Fingli, it only took 2 days to reach the distance, regardless of the rest time in the middle, but due to successive encounters with blizzards, heavy rains and other bad weather, it has not arrived yet. Wilhelm couldn't help feeling helpless, his luck was really not good enough. This also shows that its own strength is not strong enough. Otherwise, just slash into the sky with a knife and shake the thunderclouds away. How could it be so embarrassing? Crazy. The golden horns on the head are shining brightly. The gigantic vulture Fingli uttered a cry. He signaled to the owner on his back that he was fine and could continue flying. This level of heavy rain is not enough to make it exhausted and unable to continue on its way. Especially, after gaining the power of the Golden Crown. It has been improved in all aspects, whether it is combat effectiveness or flying ability, it has been improved to a higher level. Far from being comparable to what it used to be. I can already smell the popularity. The sea breeze is mixed with the smell of humans, and there are a lot of them. With a slight movement of his nose, Wilhelm said, it shouldn't be far away. As a hybrid of fur and human, he is undoubtedly a very special alien. They are born with a keener sense of smell than dogs. It is even possible to read relevant information by relying on the insignificant smell floating from an extremely distant place. No matter how subtle the smell changes, he can't hide it from him. Boom. I don't know if it's because of flying too high. A blazing electric light suddenly struck over, making people feel chills. Kanglangling, the snow-bright cold light lit up. Suddenly, Wilhelm's eyes froze. Holding the gorgeous natural teeth tightly, he suddenly swung towards the sky. Flying dragon. Call out, a bright blue slash shot out from the blade like lightning. It turned into a flying dragon with its teeth and claws open, and directly faced the incoming thunder. Boom, between electric light and flint. I saw that strong dragon-shaped slash, blasting away the falling thunder and lightning. People can't help but be shocked. What a hassle. Not long. The weather turns sunny. A round silver moon hangs in the sky. A hazy island, somewhat blurred in the night, as far away. Aska Island. Have you arrived at last? Looking at the slightly trembling eternal pointer pointing to the island in his hand. Wilhelm raised his eyebrows, and suddenly looked in a certain direction. There is also that throbbing in the dark, are calling. Interesting. Pu Ling Ling, the wind howled. Huge hawks circled down from the sky. Landed in a lake in the center of Aska Island, in front of a monument with stone steps. Looking at the cave entrance at the end of the stairs, and the lifelike, holy female statue above. Without hesitation. With Fingli who turned into a mastiff. He walked in along the stairs, in the dark cave. Empty, a little gloomy. There is only one sarcophagus lying there. Roar, growl. The snow-white mastiff stepped forward, biting a corner of the sarcophagus. Strive to throw the coffin lid out. The scene inside was revealed. It's not a corpse. Yes, it's just a double-edged sword that is extremely long and looks very strange. The legendary cursed holy sword, 7-star sword. With golden eyes, he looked indifferently at the long sword that was sealed in the sarcophagus, shining with green light, as if to tempt him to step forward to pick it up. Wilhelm said lightly, interesting, are you calling me? Ancient legend. In an age that cannot be traced back, on a blood moon night that is rare in 100 years, the three princes of Aska met a beautiful witch for the first time together and fell in love with her at the same time. In order to win the love of the witch, the three princes took out the 7-star sword to prove the throne, and started a war. The earth and the sea also wept because they absorbed the sorrow of countless innocent victims. Then, the 7-star sword absorbed the resentment and blood of countless people, attracted killing and destruction, and turned into a cursed demon sword. The cursed demon sword caused the complete destruction of Aska country in the form of blood sacrifice, causing battles again and again. The war spread everywhere in this sea area, but the beautiful sea has become a world ruled by darkness. In order to save everyone from the war, that shrine maiden sacrificed her life to wipe away the blood and hatred absorbed by the 7-star sword. The three princes prayed to the gods in order to repay the death of their beloved witch, and received 3 gems from the gods of Aska, and sealed the power of the 7-star sword, which became a demon sword. Well, although the rumors are a bit exaggerated, but no matter how you think about it, it's the legendary demon sword, so you won't disappoint me too much. Wilhelm stepped forward, directly grabbed the 7-star sword, and held it in his hand. Brush. In an instant, a strange green light diffused from the edge of the sword, full of an ominous atmosphere. A strange scarlet flashed across Wilhelm's eyes. Boom. A huge blue slash illuminates the cave. It directly tore through the atmosphere and penetrated the entire mountain. Unabated, it blasted into the sky. Completely broke the tranquility of Aska Island. What happened? The direction from which the sound came from. It's a forbidden area in the back mountain. Countless aborigines on this island were awakened from their sleep. A beautiful woman was gently coaxing a baby girl who was waiting to be fed, her complexion changed drastically. Oops, it could be. Putting down the baby girl and not caring about anything else, he hurriedly ran outside. A large number of natives of Aska Island stared blankly at the direction of the back mountain. I saw the top of the mountain. There was a tall silver-white figure standing there. In his hand, he was holding a very strange long sword with green light. Inexplicable, it makes people shudder. That's the 7-star sword. The complexion of the beautiful young woman who just ran out changed drastically. At this time, Obasan, who was in his 50s, looked flustered and shouted at her, "Oh no, Maggie, someone sneaked into the forbidden area and stole the 7-star sword. If the 7-star sword is unsealed, it will definitely bring endless slaughter to this sea, and darkness will once again cover the earth. The meaning of our existence is to guard the 7-star sword from generation to generation to prevent its seal from being released." The young woman said anxiously, "My lord, you must lead someone to rush there, take back the 7-star sword, and seal it again." What? Is the legend true? Saint Maggie, does the 7-star sword really exist? Damn it, that cursed magic sword must not be born. The surrounding residents could not help but change their faces when they heard the words. All along, they thought that the legend of the 7-star sword was fictional. It never occurred to me that the legend turned out to be true. The 7-star sword really exists. Soon, the witch Maggie hurried to the top of the mountain with a team of young and strong-armed men from the tribe. "Put down the 7-star sword quickly, you will be lost by it." Looking at the noble and inviolable silver-white figure holding the 7-star sword in the forehand that exudes a strange and ominous atmosphere. Her beautiful pretty face was full of anxiety, and she shouted there, "The 7-star sword is a cursed demon sword, full of ominous demon power. Anyone who covets its power will be a puppet controlled by the 7-star sword." On top of the mountain, bathed in the moonlight, Wilhelm's figure is proud and ruthless. Looking down at Maggie, the witch who has been guarding the 7-star sword for generations, and the residents of Aska Island, she is full of disdain and sarcasm. "It's just a sword, and you're trying to manipulate me? Who do you think I am?" His eyes froze. A violent momentum, accompanied by the incomparable conqueror's haki. It poured out continuously from his body, frantically spreading out. But it's not the residents of Aska Island who crushed those people. Instead, it directly aimed at the 7-star sword in his hand, which was full of monsters. From the very beginning, it stopped bewitching and intruding all the time, trying to control his mind and mind. Buzz. Buzz. I saw the 7-star sword trembling violently there. The green brilliance around him became more and more intense. It seems to be trying to struggle, to break free, to resist. What? As the time goes, under the incredible eyes of the witch Maggie and the villagers, wisps of lightning flashed continuously, lingering around the incomparably sharp sword edge. It was extremely strange, filled with an ominous atmosphere, and the 7-star sword surrounded by green lights stopped struggling violently, and gradually calmed down. Moreover, that chilling, full of strange and ominous atmosphere, totally restrained. Roar, the next moment. I saw Wilhelm, who had just subdued the 7-star sword forcefully, roaring to the sky. There was a roar of a beast that was completely unlike a human being, and it made people's hearts skip a beat. All the residents of Aska Island stared wide-eyed, and shouted in panic and uneasiness, "It's a monster." Some timid people turned pale with fright and retreated hastily. Someone fell and broke his head, rolling and climbing. Hey! Chi-Chi! In a blink of an eye. Silver-white long hair dances wildly. There are strands of current, constantly intertwined. Swipe. The whole person changed at a speed visible to the naked eye. The golden pupils, as sharp as a falcon, turned scarlet in an instant. Filled with wild, killing, ferocious atmosphere. His face became ferocious, and his ears began to become sharp. The two long and sharp fangs are very eye-catching, interlaced and extremely sharp. The body that was already extremely strong continued to expand and became taller. Originally underage, but already 2 meters tall, at this moment his stature has grown to more than 3 meters. There was dazzling electric light shining, and the aura was unbelievably violent. A snow-white tail protruded from behind him, and it keeps getting bigger in the blink of an eye, and the hair becomes more fluffy and slender, and it flutters there with the wind. The sharp claws shaped like ferocious beasts, the already extremely sharp and sharp nails have also become narrower and longer, appearing sharp and ferocious, with a cold light shining. Like a man and a beast, cruel and fierce, noble and mysterious. Scalp tingling, impossible to take lightly, sigh. The dazzling electric light keeps shining. The seven-star sword danced wildly, and the terrifying aura kept rising. The inconceivable evil power, the unimaginable pressure of the sword, and the extremely violent electricity poured out there. The three are intertwined and gathered there as if materialized. Catch. Gotcha. The ground was cracked and collapsed under the pressure of the incomparable momentum. Countless gravel and rubble shook violently there, floating into the air one after another. Roar. The dragon's roar was deafening. A majestic blue dragon with a green body and a majestic appearance emerged from it. Chi-chi. As if it really had a sense of life, it was surrounded by a dazzling and captivating electric light, and it bared its teeth and claws. The huge dragon body intertwined with electric light is lifelike, hovering and guarding Wilhelm's side. Incomparably ferocious and unstoppable, it was indescribably shocking. Profound truth, Kanglongpo. Boom. For a moment. The earth shook and the mountains shook, deafening. The smoke and dust all over the sky billowed up and spread there. It was impossible to see the horrific sight ahead. Gulu. That is, the lake. Disappeared. As this. The power of God. A long time. The smoke and dust gradually dissipated. The witch Maggie of Aska Island's pupils widened, and she was a little absent-minded. And those tribal residents couldn't help but couldn't believe their eyes. They all opened their mouths wide, too shocked to speak. Cold sweat flowed out directly, panicked. At the foot of the dilapidated mountain, the originally clear and spacious lake, together with the lush forest around it, had disappeared. It was completely reduced to ruins and razed to the ground. Unspeakable shock. Fingry, let's go, and I don't know when. Wilhelm, who had been transformed into a moonlion, has returned to his original form. Once again, he regained the appearance of that handsome young man. As a hybrid born from the combination of Big Mom and Fur Tribe, he not only perfectly inherited Charlotte Linland's monster-like genes, but also inherited the innate racial talent of the Fur Tribe. Moreover, he easily mastered the electric shock technique passed down from generation to generation by the Fur Clan. It is different from the Fur Clan, who need to look directly at the full moon to awaken the wildness in the deep memory, so as to exert a stronger power like a lion under the moon, with a great limit. Even if he doesn't need to wait until the full moon night, he can directly transform into a moon lion. After years of unremitting training, he has been able to perfectly control this power without turning into a beast that loses its mind. After turning into a moon lion, Wilhelm can fully explore and explode his own potential. Not only has his physical fitness been improved in an all-round way, but he can also release more powerful electricity, greatly improving his combat effectiveness. Even after turning into a moon lion, he will even gain an unimaginable increase in his own hockey strength. It can be said that even without the ability of Paramecia to transfer fruit, his own blood is already equivalent to possessing a powerful phantom beast ability. Of course, the power of moon lionization did not appear for nothing. If the moon lion transforms for too long, the power consumption will be huge. Once the energy, or physical strength, stored in the body is exhausted, if the moon lion transformation is not released in time, one's own vitality may be consumed. If some fur tribes transform themselves into moon lions without rigorous training, they will easily go mad because of the wildness hidden in their blood, completely lose their minds, and fight endlessly like a tireless beast. In the end, he squeezed out his own vitality and died of exhaustion. Roar. The snow-white mastiff jumped up violently. It turned into a ferocious giant eagle, and its white wings fluttered slightly. An extremely violent hurricane blew up, making the residents of Aska Island who were watching from afar, panicked, and dare not approach easily, a little bit unable to open their eyes. With a light leap, Wilhelm landed on Fingally's back. It directly flapped its wings and rushed to the sky. The residents of Aska Island who looked at each other in blank dismay were left behind. Gulu. Do you think that person just now was transformed from a monster? Someone asked tremblingly. Of course, it can't be human. Immediately, someone on the side bravely responded loudly. He must be a big evil monster. How can humans have such fangs and claws? Thinking of that mysterious and cold figure, it just turned into a terrifying monster-like appearance. Everyone present could not help but turn pale and tremble in their hearts. Staring at the ruins in front of her in a daze, the witch Maggie's complexion changed drastically when she came to her senses, and she yelled out. Oops, the jade used to seal the seven-star sword in the lake has probably been destroyed. Trouble. The legendary cursed sword, the seven-star sword, was taken away by such a monster. The old witch looked at the direction of the sea and said worriedly, I hope nothing will happen. Woohoo, Bolu, Bolu. the snow-white vulture fluttered its wings and soared high. Wilhelm lay lazily on Finger's back. Resting his arms on his pillow, he stared at the silvery full moon. But there is no tendency to turn into a moonlion after looking at the full moon for a long time like other fur tribes. Holding the phone bug that suddenly rang. "I'm Wilhelm, what's the matter?" "Wilhelm, I'm Smoothie." A pleasant female voice came out. "Where are you?" "We have arrived at Sabodi Archipelago." "Already at the Sabodi Archipelago?" Wilhelm raised his eyebrows, and said without hesitation, "Then you just follow my life card to find it. I'll wait for you at the Magnetic Drum Kingdom." "Really, don't you know how to feel sorry for your sister, Brother Wilhelm?" The phone bug imitated another handsome silhouette with fluffy white hair, and complained a little. "We have been driving for many days in a row, running all the way from New World to find you. It was you who couldn't bear the loneliness and ran out of Toto Land, and I didn't ask you to come out. Besides, this is not a tempering for you." With a calm face, Wilhelm said lightly, "If there's nothing else, I'll hang up first." He wasn't worried about Smoothie and the others. In the first half of the Grand Line, with the strength of their three sisters, and those homies soldiers. As long as the luck is not so bad, I believe that I can protect myself. Now. The other end of the phone bug. Far away in the Sabodi Archipelago. A deserted shore. A medium-sized pirate ship is lying there. Under some dim lights, three tall figures stood there. Surprisingly, their long legs with different tattoos are more than twice as long as their upper body. An anthropomorphic homies soldier was busy performing his duties there. There are also a small number of human pirates, all of which belong to the Big Mom pirate group. The guy who makes people headaches is really cold enough. The 14th daughter of the Charlotte family, Charlotte Smoothie, looked at the phone bug that was hung up, and her forehead couldn't help having some veins throbbing, full of helplessness. "Speaking of which, Sister Smoothie, it's really surprising that you gave up that devil fruit that should belong to you." "Bloated, but very tall," said Strong, the 15th daughter of the Charlotte family. "Indeed." Sneyman, the 16th daughter of the Charlotte family, with a ponytail, a very tall figure, and brows full of heroism, wiped her sword and said, "At the beginning, my mother asked Sister Smoothie to you ate that Paramecia squeeze fruit, but you gave it to me without hesitation because of that guy Wilhelm. To be honest, Paramecia squeezing fruit is already a very good ability. At least, in the past few years, after mastering the ability of Paramecia to squeeze the fruit and gradually developing it, Sneyman himself is very satisfied." "I do not know either," Smoothie shrugged. With her long legs slung lightly, she sat there lazily. At that time, facing his swearing and serious expression, I just obeyed him. Smoothie trusts Wilhelm unconditionally. There is no other reason. When she was 10 years old, Charlotte Linlin was killed on the spot by Charlotte Linlin, who was almost attacked by cravings and denied her relatives. At the critical moment, she was saved by this younger brother who was younger than her. 3 years ago, as the eldest of the long-legged triplets, she was extremely gifted, and attracted the attention of her mother, Charlotte Linlin, and was given Paramecia. However, as a talented little monster in the Charlotte family, Wilhelm, who had a close relationship with her since childhood and saved his life, privately dissuaded her. "Let it give up that Paramecia squeeze fruit, and don't rush to become demon fruit power for the time being," claiming that he will personally find a stronger and more suitable ability for her in the future. Therefore, Smoothie did not hesitate to give up the Paramecia squeezed fruit and gave it to his sister Sneyman. Of course, she didn't regret her choice. Not to mention putting pressure on Wilhelm to find a stronger devil fruit for himself. To put it bluntly, the development of devil fruit's ability still depends on the individual. It doesn't matter to Smoothie if Wilhelm can't find a suitable devil fruit for her in the future. With the huge power of the Big Mom pirates, it is not difficult to get her a decent devil fruit. See Circle Calendar 1503, April 2nd. According to the guidance of the recording pointer, Wilhelm successfully arrived at the Drum Kingdom. If his guess is correct, there is a high possibility that the zone fruit is in this winter island that is covered with ice and snow all the year round. Moreover, it should appear in places where reindeer herds appear. The scope of the search can be greatly narrowed. Originally, even if the scope of the search was greatly narrowed, Wilhelm was not 100% sure that he could find it. However, his luck is obviously very good. Finally found it? Snowflakes fluttered and the wind howled in the snow. Holding a not-so-large fruit with a strange spiral pattern in his hand, Wilhelm couldn't help but smile. He spent half a month back and forth in this forest. I was ready to give up, but finally found this fruit of everyone. It is not very big, mushroom-shaped, red on the top and white on the bottom, with strange patterns. Roar. Fingley yelled excitedly. It made the reindeer herd in the distance tremble, and fled in groups in all directions. Let's go. Playing with the mushroom-shaped human fruit, Wilhelm chuckled. Next, when Smoothie and the others come over, it's time to head to Sky Island. It's a pity for him. The more anticipated Paramecia Munch Munch fruit has not yet appeared. Wapple, who is still the prince of the Drum Kingdom, is not demon fruit power yet. Half a month ago, Wilhelm visited the treasure house of the Magnetic Drum Kingdom, but unfortunately, he didn't find any devil fruit. However, it was a bit of a reward to be able to find this human fruit. Not to return empty-handed. The pirates are coming. It's the Big Mom pirates. Oh my god. Why do New World pirates come here? Run. On the port of Drum Kingdom, a medium-sized pirate ship came slowly. It directly caused panic among many residents, and the king's army in this country was even more heavily armed. But the flag belonging to the Big Mom pirates made them dare not act rashly. Could it be that some heads were sweating coldly? A tall, good-looking, long-legged girl with a high brown ponytail tied up stepped forward. Looking at the port full of panic, and the king's army who were too timid to step forward, let alone fire. What a bunch of cowards. They peed their pants in fright when they saw Mother's flag. Snayman, the 16th daughter of the Charlotte family, had her left hand on her hip and the right hand with a long sword at her waist, and she couldn't help showing a contemptuous smile. There is some indescribable pride in my heart. No matter where you go these days, just see the flag of the Big Mom pirates. Even Marine, who claims to be righteous, dare not act rashly. And most of the pirates were even more frightened and fled in panic. Not to mention these weak king's army. Our purpose is not to cause trouble. It would be best not to attract Marine's excessive attention. A head of white wavy hair was loosely scattered behind her. She inherited the lineage of the Longleg family and was also exaggeratedly tall. What is the guy doing all the way to this cold and snowy backcountry? Who knows? Strong, the 15th daughter of the Charlotte family, folded her arms. With a tall and bloated figure, he leaned on the mast and said indifferently, in the Charlotte family, Wilhelm has always been a maverick. Even if it is his mother's order, he may not completely obey it. Gee, at this time. Ahead, the white sky. A gigantic vulture came flapping its wings. Above, stood a silver-white figure. His Royal Highness Wilhelm, it's so handsome. Still as cool as ever. How dazzling. Master Wilhelm's light is too dazzling. Welcome, Lord Wilhelm, on the huge pirate ship. The pirates of the Big Mom pirate group, as well as a large number of homies, quickly noticed the silver-white noble figure standing on the eagle's back. It's like seeing a fanatical fan of an idol. All of them had stars in their eyes were shining, and they all shouted excitedly. He kept waving his hands and cheering there. Wilhelm. You're finally here, and the three Smoothie sisters complained. But when I saw Wilhelm, I couldn't help but be overjoyed. And the three of them have long been familiar with such an overly lively scene. No way. This younger brother is too popular in the Big Mom pirates. Unlike other brothers and sisters who are older or younger with a big age difference, Wilhelm is not only about the same age as them, but also played together from childhood to adulthood. The relationship is naturally much closer, especially as the most handsome of the children of the Charlotte family. The former Wilhelm was an out-and-out little boy when he was a child, and his impeccable, prosperous beauty made even girls like them feel a little jealous. Plus, the terrifying talent inherited from Charlotte Linlin, born with monster-like powers. Such a character. Simply perfect. This thrilling noble son, with a cold personality, amazing potential, and an unlimited future. In the Big Mom pirates, he is a well-deserved star, like a star holding the moon. Even the Katakuri big brother, who they usually claim to be the highest masterpiece of the Charlotte family, can't compare. To this day, the Charlotte sisters all had to admit it. Even facing Wilhelm's cool face every day, he was often ignored by the indifferent character who was born with his own way. Just being able to quietly admire that perfect face, there is a kind of enjoyment. The existence of Wilhelm really made the sisters' visions worse. Ordinary men, compared with the cool and handsome Wilhelm, are nothing like mud, and they can't catch their eyes at all. Turn them all into face control brush. There is a flower in front of my eyes. Wilhelm's figure had disappeared on the back of Fingley, who was rushing straight. He came directly to the pirate ship and appeared in front of the three Smoothie sisters. Don't get in the way. His tone was indifferent. He frowned slightly. It was as sharp as a falcon, and the cold eyes that people dare not look directly swept across. The pirates and homies, who were so excited and cheered enthusiastically there, couldn't help but look stagnant, and cold sweat broke out. He secretly swallowed his saliva. Don't dare to continue dancing and shouting. I respect and fear this trembling nobleman. Wilhelm, you're still so cold. Looking at Wilhelm's heroic figure, Smoothie smiled and said, everyone is very happy to see you. I didn't expect you to come all the way from New World. Ignoring the pirates and homies, and staring at the three long-legged sisters who are just 16 years old, Wilhelm said bluntly, the prestige of the Big Mom pirate group, although it is not small, there are also many enemies in this sea, and it is very dangerous to rush to the first half of the Grand Line. You can run around, so we are fine, don't underestimate the strength of the three of us. Sneeman, who has always been extremely confident in his own strength, glared at Wilhelm with dissatisfaction when he heard the words, and retorted angrily. Don't say that, Wilhelm. Smoothie sat there with his long legs crossed lightly, holding his face in his hands, and looked at his younger brother's ridiculously handsome face with a smile, and said, it's rare that my sisters came all the way here, why don't you want to see us so much? My sister is very sad. Huh. Wilhelm, that's in your hand. Looking at the mushroom-shaped fruit in Wilhelm's hand, Strom couldn't help shrinking his eyes. Devil fruit? That kind of pattern. It really looks like it. Both Smoothie and Sneeman noticed it too, full of surprise. Unexpectedly, Wilhelm found a devil fruit. This is what I just found, zone everyone fruit. Seeing the three sisters looking at them with burning eyes, Wilhelm didn't pay any attention, and said directly, it's useless for ordinary humans to eat it. Animals will become like humans if they eat it. It can unlock their wisdom and have human-like abilities. Ability to learn. Zone everyone fruit? The three sisters were all amazed. And Smoothie took the human fruit with some interest, and played with it there. Strong and Sneeman quickly lost interest and stopped paying attention. This kind of ability is nothing special, at most it can turn animals into people. It's not such a powerful devil fruit ability. Don't underestimate it. Wilhelm didn't care, and said slowly, the effect of devil fruit's ability depends on how it is used. For others, everyone has such an ability. At most, you can only find a beast with good strength to cultivate. He never thought of being so wasteful, but whether it can make the best use of everything depends on whether his next experiment can be successful. Sir Wilhelm, who is so cold and cool, is so handsome. Worthy of being the thrilling noble son, the superstar of the Charlotte family, Lord Wilhelm's aura is really getting stronger and stronger. Indeed, just now, just facing his sharp eagle-like eyes, I couldn't help but tremble in my heart, my legs and feet were a little weak, and I almost fell limp on the ground from fright. Even my mother said that Wilhelm-sama and Katakuri-sama are her right-hand men. So the strength of Lord Wilhelm has surpassed Lord Perisparrow, the eldest son of the Charlotte family, the Minister of Candy. Gulu. I remember counting everything. He's just turned 15, right? Of course, Master Wilhelm is a monster, who has perfectly inherited mother's talent. There at Smoothie's behest, a group of pirates and homies from the Big Mom pirate group quickly resumed their previous busyness, performing their duties and preparing to set sail. As early as in the Toto land waters, they had already known the temper of His Highness Wilhelm, so naturally they would not be so short-sighted and dare to step forward to offend. Some pirates who stayed in the Big Mom pirate group for a long time and learned some secrets in the waters of Toto land deliberately lowered their voices, discussing Wilhelm's legendary deeds in a whispered voice there. And these, of course, cannot be hidden from the ears of Smoothie and others. However, they had already witnessed Wilhelm's monster performance. Not surprising. Or rather, numb. Such a natural monster cannot be measured by common sense at all. A few years ago, Wilhelm, who was less than 10 years old, had a conflict with Cracker, the 10th son of the Charlotte family who was already an adult. At that time, Wilhelm was not yet a demon fruit power. Facing Cracker's stormy attack, he did not dodge or dodge, allowing the opponent to slash at him continuously. But that Cracker big brother tried his best to hack for most of the day. It's just that they failed to leave any scars on Wilhelm's body that was perfectly inherited from their mother Charlotte Linlin, which was as tough as steel and iron. Instead, he was exhausted and sweating profusely. It's just unbelievable. You know, their Cracker big brother's pretzel is a rare famous knife in the world. Even more exaggerated. When Wilhelm, who was less than 10 years old, started to go all out, he relied on his innate strange strength. The unreserved punch directly made that Cracker big brother helpless. He vomited blood and flew several hundred meters. He didn't know how many ribs were broken, and he fell into a coma for several days. It's like a monster in human form, so strong that it's a mess. There is no need to stay here anymore. This is the permanent pointer to Gaia Island, which is the next destination. Make arrangements and get ready to go. Put away the fruit of everyone. Wilhelm handed a permanent pointer bought in advance at a high price in the black market of Sabodi Archipelago to Smoothie, who came to him. He was about to lean on Fingery, who had turned back into a snowmastiff and was lying there lazily. But the tall figure lightly kicked the lazy snowmastiff. The fierce eyes revealed threats. The snowmastiff Fingley, who just opened his eyes, was drenched in cold sweat. With a low whimper, he ran away aggrieved. Smoothie sat down with a smile on his face. Naturally replaced Finger, extremely skilled. Obviously, this is not the first time something like this has happened. Wilhelm was speechless. But looking at Smoothie, the sister who always covets her prosperous beauty, the unwavering eyes did not refuse. Closing his eyes leisurely, he lay his pillow on the rose flower. Compared to other siblings of the Charlotte family, he is naturally close to Smoothie's sister. It's been like this since I was a kid. Already used to it. Gaia Island? Satisfied Smoothie. Looking at the heroic face of this younger brother with a smile, he gently pressed Wilhelm's temples with both hands skillfully to relieve his fatigue from the past few days, and asked curiously, "What are you doing there?" Turning a blind eye to the staring gaze, Wilhelm said directly, "There are stories about the Golden Country circulating there. I'm a little interested, so I'll go there and explore it. Maybe I can find some unexpected discoveries." Golden Country? Snap-on the side raised his eyebrows. But Smoothie's style is no surprise. The one mother sister grew up much closer to Wilhelm than any other Charlotte sister. At this time, the navigator who had just walked over couldn't help saying, "Master Wilhelm, this is the story of Nolando the Liar in the famous North Blue children's comic strip. Everyone in North Blue knows the so-called Golden Country, but Nolando made it up, and no one believes it at all." Oh? Strong, the 15th daughter of the Charlotte family, was a little surprised. Looking at the navigator who belonged to the Big Mom pirate group and was assigned to the Juice Islands in the waters of Toto Land under the jurisdiction of his three sisters, he asked, "Jane, have you heard of this too? Golden Country?" The navigator Jane nodded and explained with a smile. "This subordinate came from North Blue. This story has been circulated in North Blue for more than 300 years, and it can be said to be a household name." Strong spread his hands, curled his lips and said, "Then it's just a fictional fairy tale. Who knows?" Squinting his eyes, closing his eyes and meditating there, Wilhelm didn't mean to explain too much, and said indifferently, "In short, go to Gaia Island first, and it's right to go sightseeing. Grand Line is a very magical sea area. It goes without saying that the waves of clouds are treacherous, the climate and currents are unpredictable. Even between adjacent islands, the humanities, climate, environment, etc. may be completely different. The Drum Kingdom is a winter island. It is covered with ice and snow all the year round, and it is very cold. On the other side of Gaia Island, the climate is hot and the heat is unbearable. It is an out-and-out summer island. Then go to Gaia Island," Smoothie said. As he said that, without looking up, he threw the record pointer to Jane, the navigator who still wanted to say something. Signal him to stop talking nonsense and get ready to go. She knew her troublesome younger brother, and she knew that Wilhelm had always been a man with ideas and a very stubborn personality. Even she couldn't dissuade the decision. Clatter. The sky is clear. On the sea, it was calm. A small pirate ship sailed slowly there. "Jane, are we almost there?" On the bow deck, a large parasol stands there. Three sisters, Sneyman, Smoothie and Strong, were sitting there playing poker. Strong, the 15th daughter of the Charlotte family, was so bored that she played a card on the tea table in front of her and said, "For several days in a row, I haven't met a single pirate who doesn't have long eyes. I'm so bored that I'm moldy. Traveling on the sea is undoubtedly boring. What I face every day is only the endless waves on the sea, or the seagulls circling in the sky." For several days, their ships did not encounter any pirates. Not even a shadow of a ship was seen. "I'm very sorry, Lord Snarman." Holding a sea chart and a permanent record pointer leading to Gaia Island, the navigator Jane estimated there. "I think there are still about 2 days' voyage before arriving at Gaia Island." As he spoke, he couldn't help looking to the other side of the deck. The whole person stands there upside down, lifting the huge and cumbersome dumbbells on both legs, relying on one finger to support the entire weight, up and down continuously, without any effort. Wilhelm seems relaxed and comfortable. "Master Wilhelm, you really worked hard. Inheriting the monster-like talent of Big Mom Charlotte Linlin, she was born with copper skin and iron bones, invulnerable to swords and guns, not to mention her natural strength. but she is still so desperate and self-disciplined. Don't be so impatient, Sister Strong. Wilhelm blushed and was not out of breath, struggling with his body. One side said lightly, in this sea, only those who can endure loneliness can reach the end and laugh at the end. Those who cannot bear loneliness will be buried in the sea. He is neither arrogant nor impetuous. I have long been accustomed to the boring journey of sailing. The self-discipline to the extremes since childhood can be called a cruel practice experience. He has already sharpened his tenacious will. Be patient with everything. Forgive me, sister, I can't compare to you. Strong wasn't angry either, he just spread his hands with a smile. By the way, Wilhelm. After hitting an ace of hearts, Smoothie turned his head to look at Wilhelm's serious and handsome figure, and asked, aren't you really going to come and play with sister and us? That's right, is it necessary to force myself to practice so desperately? Looking at his playing cards that weren't big enough, Sneyman couldn't help curling his lips and said, is it okay to relax once in a while? It's natural to relax when it's time to relax, but you still have to be self-disciplined when it's time to be self-disciplined. Didn't I spend time with you every day? Wilhelm didn't look up. With his right hand behind his back, he stood upside down. With both feet firmly supporting the bulky dumbbell that was more exaggerated than his entire body, the index finger of his left hand propped on the deck was bent, and his whole body bounced upwards. When it fell again, the original index finger had been replaced by the middle finger, supporting the exaggerated weight. Although he is a cultivator, he is not devoted to cultivation 24 hours a day except for sleeping and eating. When you are not busy with business, in addition to the planned training time, you will also set aside a certain amount of time every day to relax your tense muscles and nerves. At this time, on the observation platform above the mast, a pirate who was in charge of monitoring the situation on the sea called out, Master Wilhelm, Mr. Smoothie. There is something on the sea. At 3 o'clock, the distance is about 8 or 9 nautical miles. It's Marine's warship. Oh? The 3 Smoothie sisters were a little surprised. All of a sudden, he regained his energy and put down the poker in his hand. When he came to the bow of the ship, he took a monocular from a soldier of Homies and observed the black spot that was getting bigger and bigger in the distance. Sneyman licked his lips, eager to try. A large battleship and 2 medium-sized cruisers in charge of escort. Are there 3 warships in total? Don't mess around. Smoothie frowned and said, the leading large battleship should be the flagship of the naval headquarters, which is qualified to be equipped by senior generals above the vice admiral level. Obviously. In the marine fleet ahead, there should be a vice admiral of the naval headquarters sitting there. You must know that even in the marine with a deep foundation, the number of senior generals at the vice admiral level is second only to the naval headquarters marshal and admiral, and the number will never be many. Except for some civilian marine vice admirals, anyone who can become a naval headquarters vice admiral is a grandmaster hockey of knowledge and weaponry, with good strength and a prominent reputation. Oh? Wilhelm, who was training, became a little interested. On the distant sea, 3 warships, flying the flags of world government and marine. It is in the shape of pin, coming fiercely. Headed by a large battleship. A middle-aged man in a gray suit and a marine cloak stood at the bow of the ship. With a cigarette in his mouth, his face is full of viciousness, which is completely incompatible with Marine's justice image. Looking at the pirate ship that was getting closer and closer in front of him, he ordered loudly. Everyone enters the first level alert situation and prepares for combat equipment. All artillery, aim at that pirate ship. Once the target is within range, fire immediately. Ghost Spider Vice Admiral. A major lieutenant stepped forward and reminded softly, that is the ship of the New World Big Mom Pirate Group. Do you really want to attack? Since the opening of the Great Pirate Era, the sea situation is chaotic and unprecedentedly turbulent. A large number of ambitious and restless people are eager to move and rush to sea. In just a few years, countless pirates flooded into the Grand Line, and the situation became increasingly serious. Due to the ever-increasing number of pirates, Marine's major branches and bases in the 4 seas in the first half of the Grand Line are simply unable to effectively suppress the pirates who are constantly making trouble and fleeing everywhere. In the past few years, the senior management of naval headquarters can be said to be overwhelmed and busy. Finally, the situation gradually stabilized. If at this time, a large number of pirates are gathered with his subordinates, firmly entrenched in the Toto Land Sea area in the middle half of New World like a sea emperor, and occupying a large number of islands, the powerful big pirate, Big Mom, a conflict is not a good thing. A good-for-nothing guy. The cold-faced ghost spider turned cold. He looked directly at his adjutant with dark eyes, and said in a cold voice, "A mere pirate from the New World is just flying the banner of the Big Mom pirates, even if, Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin himself how? Do you want me to order a retreat, and dishonor the justice of the Marine? We are Marine, representing justice." That ghostly, cold face looked more like a pirate than a pirate. The adjutant turned pale with fright and sweated coldly. "Yes, yes. Ghost Spider Vice Admiral. I'll let you off this time, I won't make an example." Stuffing out the cigarette, Ghost Spider turned around expressionlessly. His stern gaze swept across all the Marine soldiers present, and said sharply, "Not only him, but you all listen to me too. Justice is absolute, and so are my orders. No one is allowed to question it. You just need to follow my orders." A group of Marine personnel were so frightened that they sweated, and hurriedly stood at attention and saluted. "Yes. Ghost Spider Vice Admiral. Vice Admiral, the Ghost Spider, the pirate ship has entered the range. The artillery elements have been adjusted, do you want to fire? What are you waiting for?" The Ghost Spider's face was stern, and he ordered without hesitation, "Fire and sink them." Yes. Bang. Bang. Boom. Boom. Clatter. Crash. One black shell after another. Like a parabola across the air. From an extremely long distance, they bombarded the pirate ship where Wilhelm, Smoothie and the others were in one after another. A large number of shells fell directly on the sea surface here and there. A huge splash of water exploded. The sea was originally calm, but the waves rolled endlessly. Even the flagship, which was carefully built by Smoothie, the Minister of Juice in the Toto land waters, with his own cartoon head engraved on the bow, began to shake. "Marine. Is exactly what I want." Already flustered with idleness, Snap-on, who couldn't wait, laughed, looking very high-spirited. Pulling out the long sword at his waist, he immediately shouted, "Little ones, fire at me, counter them, and teach these Marines a lesson." Shelling? When they left the waters of Toto land, they brought a large number of homies shells with them. The kind of cannonball that was endowed with life by their mother Charlotte Linlin with the ability of the soul fruit, can not only lock the target independently, but also directly track it. Launch artillery battles on the sea. Even now that Marine has an advantage in the number of warships, I and the others only have one medium-sized pirate warship. Snayman wasn't afraid at all. "Yes, Lord Snarman. Ready to fire. Sink these Marines." A group of pirates and homies soldiers shouted excitedly after receiving the order. There is no meaning of fear at all. The gunner began to take his position, adjusting the direction of the naval gun. And a large number of homies soldiers began to carry the shells in small groups. Boxes of ammunition were brought up from the hold. After opening it, there were anthropomorphic faces on the black cannonballs. There are scrambling openings. Use me, sink them, boom haha, such a scene is extremely weird. Makes the scalp tingle. Bang, bang, boom. Not long. Several anthropomorphic shells flew out first. After directly locking onto the target, one after another freely controlled the trajectory and hit the incoming artillery shells at an astonishing speed. The two exploded in midair, the flames soared into the sky, and the smoke filled the air. The Marines on the distant sea were stunned. Is the battle inevitable? It's really troublesome. Looking at the menacing Marine fleet, Smoothie shrugged helplessly. Holding the long sword slung around his waist, his gaze began to become sharp, revealing a heroic fighting spirit. Unlike her younger sister, Snayman, she is lazy and undisciplined by nature, and has no interest in such battles. Generally, avoid it if you can avoid it, and don't make trouble for no reason. If only they're three sisters, she really didn't want to go head-to-head with Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral like this. Generally, while firing a counterattack, they ordered to evacuate directly, not to engage in hand-to-hand combat with the opponent, and not to waste their time foolishly. But with Wilhelm, it's different. Even facing the elite Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters, the three sisters have enough confidence. Although he has just turned 15, Wilhelm, the perfect masterpiece of the Charlotte family, has inherited the monster-like talent of their mother, Charlotte Linlin, and is born with extraordinary talents, which are different from ordinary people. It is an out-and-out, natural monster, that cannot be deduced by common sense. In particular, this trembling noble son has spent most of his time practicing cultivation over the years, constantly exploring and squeezing his own potential. No one knows how powerful he is. With the so-called age, there is no way to measure his strength. Because, that day, he was born with copper skin and iron bones, and his monster-like invulnerable body made him easily break through the shackles of age, and youth would not be his hindrance at all. In the Big Mom Pirates, it is currently able to overwhelm Wilhelm. Only the second son of the Charlotte family is recognized as the strongest general, Katakori's big brother. But Smoothie is sometimes skeptical, even that Katakori big brother may not be Wilhelm's opponent. Because so far, no one has seen Wilhelm really go all out. Because he is too young, most people only think that this trembling noble son has great potential in the future, but they completely ignore his current skyrocketing strength under his continuous and unremitting crazy practice day and night. Even a few years ago, in the duel with Cracker, Wilhelm was neither blushing nor out of breath from the end of the fight. At that time, Cracker big brother was 20 years old. He was a paramecia biscuit fruit capable person, and he often hid in the extremely strong biscuit armor he created with his ability. Marine mistakenly thought it was his true face, and offered a reward of 235 million Bailey. In this case, it was amazingly strong, the biscuit armor that couldn't be easily torn apart by ordinary guns, and the body of the Cracker big brother hiding inside were all knocked down by him, who started to get serious with a punch. Who would have imagined that Wilhelm was only 9 years old at that time? Now, how powerful should it be? Trembling noble son. The word, shudder, is not just words. Others don't know. But the three Smoothie sisters who are closer to Wilhelm know it very well. In the past few years, although Wilhelm has been practicing most of the time, he often goes out with Katakori's big brother in private. Use bloody and cruel battles to continuously sharpen yourself and verify the results of your practice. Many of those ambitious pirates who broke into the waters of Toto Land and tried to challenge the Big Mom pirate group were easily eliminated by him with overwhelming strength, and he has never failed. But because Wilhelm was too young, he kept a low profile. The outside world thought that those pirates were dealt with by Katakori, the strongest general. 3 warships. At this time, Wilhelm had finished training and came over. Looking at the 3 warships that were coming fiercely ahead, they were constantly firing at him and others. Raise your right hand lightly, and flick your fingers repeatedly. Whoa, whoa. The cannonballs that were attacking the pirate ship were pierced and torn apart by fingernail-sized, lightning-fast blood-colored airblades that were almost invisible to the naked eye. One after another, the volley exploded. In midair, the roar continued, and black smoke filled the air. Do you want to make a bet and try it out? Wilhelm looked at the 3 Smoothies and smiled lightly. Oh? How do you want to compare? Smoothie was taken aback, and asked with a curious smile. Meanwhile, Strawn, Sneyman and the others also had burning eyes and became interested. I don't need the ability of Devil Fruit. One person is in charge of the battleship in the middle, and the other 2 warships are handed over to you. The manpower you bring out can also participate in the battle. I can also ask Fingley to help you. Glancing at the fierce Big Mom pirates and Homies soldiers, Wilhelm said directly to Smoothie and the others, it depends on who ends the battle first. Ah. The snow mastiff Fingley was lying lazily in the corner. Hearing his master's greeting, he hurriedly ran over. Baring his teeth and shaking his snow-white mane, he followed behind Wilhelm majestically. Then what if we win? Strom folded his arms and asked confidently. If Wilhelm directly uses the incredible ability to transfer fruit, she really has no confidence in winning. But if she promises not to use her devil fruit ability, she is still a little confident. I can promise you one condition, Wilhelm shrugged. When the 3 sisters heard this, their eyes could not help but brighten. Smoothie asked with a smile, then what if we lose? If I win, the 3 of you will have to train according to the training plan I made in the future, strictly implement it, and don't be perfunctory. With a smile, Wilhelm looked at Smoothie, who was the backbone of the 3 sisters. How? Not to mention Strong and Sneyman, he had high hopes for Smoothie. Otherwise, it will not let it give up the paramecia squeeze fruit. The purpose is to find a more powerful devil fruit for her in the future. The talent of his long-legged sister may not be much worse than that of Katakori's big brother, but she is too lazy. It's not okay to put a little pressure on her inappropriately. Okay. It's a deal. We've won, Wilhelm. The 3 sisters are very straightforward people. Without twitching or hesitating, they looked at each other and responded confidently. Okay. Wilhelm, you are not allowed to use the ability to transfer fruits. Looking at the majestic and energetic Wilhelm in front of him, Smoothie directly added. Once you use it, you will abstain. After all, the enemy is the Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters, and there are a large number of Marine elites on it. Although he is extremely confident in Wilhelm's strength, Smoothie does not want his beloved brother to be injured. Although so far, they have not seen Wilhelm injured in the slightest. Little ones, did you hear that? Full of confidence, Sneeman raised his long sword and shouted at those subordinates, "Don't hold back." Compared to the slender Smoothie and Sneeman, Strong, who is slightly fatter, also echoed with confidence, "If you lose like this, it will be too embarrassing." "Oh. Don't worry, Lord Sneeman. I won't embarrass you. We are the elite from Juice Island. Master Wilhelm, I'm your loyal fan, but I'm sorry." A group of pirates, homies, all have high morale. One by one, they raised their weapons and shouted excitedly, full of confidence and fighting spirit, from their perspective. Although it is rumored that Master Wilhelm is very powerful, after all, not many people have actually seen him make a move. If he didn't even use the ability of Devil Fruit, facing Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral and a large number of Marine elites alone, even if he could eliminate those enemies, it would take a lot of effort. And on their side, there are 3 Smoothie sisters who are young but equally strong. Not to mention the large number of people, they only faced 2 auxiliary ships that were one size smaller than the leading battleship. I believe they will win next. Kang Lang Lang. Hey, full of energy. Seeing that the morale of these crew members and homies soldiers was high, they were full of fighting spirit. The tall and slender Smoothie pulled out the long sword at his waist and looked at Wilhelm with a smile. "Are you ready? Then let's get started." Wilhelm didn't say much more either. Looking at the 3 warships at least a few nautical miles apart. A strange light of faint blue flashed in the golden pupils, and he shuddered suddenly. Target transfer. Brush, boom, boom. Clatter. Crash. In a split second, the entire pirate ship disappeared out of thin air. A large number of shells hit the sea. The waves rolled and turbulent, miles and miles away. Those Marines who were paying attention to the battle situation couldn't help but shrink their pupils. Together with the Ghost Spider, the Naval Headquarters, the out-and-out Hawk Vice Admiral. All Marine personnel have not yet had time to react. In an instant, a huge pirate ship appeared out of nowhere. It happened to be in the middle of the 3 warships in a pin-shaped array, behind the leading large Marine warship. And the escort ship closest to the left has almost approached the pirate ship. Close at hand. What? How is this possible? Oh my god, am I right? Gulu. The pirate ship of the Big Mom pirate group broke into the middle of the fleet directly. It's obviously still several nautical miles away. Why did they appear here all of a sudden? On 3 warships. A well-trained Marine on weekdays. At this time, all of them couldn't help but widen their pupils, some couldn't believe their eyes. Opening his mouth wide, he stared blankly at the pirate ship that suddenly appeared in the center of his own fleet. Some were shocked. Tisk tisk, it appeared. Master Wilhelm's ability. It's unbelievable to take the whole ship across several nautical miles in a blink of an eye. Break into Marine's fleet in an instant. As expected of a trembling noble's son, the supernova of the Charlotte family. It's really too powerful. Pirate ship. Pirates who only feel a blur in front of them. After understanding the situation, he quickly calmed down. They were all a little excited, looking at Wilhelm with fanatical admiration and awe. Tisk tisk, such an exaggerated ability. No matter how many times I experience it, I still feel so incredible. The 3 Smoothie sisters, who had been prepared for a long time, were already prepared, with relaxed smiles and fighting spirit in their eyes. Little ones. Come on. The leader, Smoothie, who was ready to go, raised his long sword. Jumping up. The advantage of being a long-legged family gives her amazing jumping ability. He took the lead in rushing to the Marine frigate on the left that had already connected with the pirate ship. Destroy these Marines. Ooh, kill Marine. Come on. Follow Mrs. Smoothie and destroy Marine. Jihaha, we're sure to win. Bang, bang. Ah, ah. Those pirates and homies soldiers had high morale and murderous intent. Directly followed Smoothie, who had already rushed out first, and swarmed towards the frigate in front of him. Sharpening his sword, he rushed to those Marines. Suddenly, Marine, who was caught off guard, was killed off his feet. Wilhelm, don't admit defeat, Sneeman said, and directly signaled to Fingli. Fingoli, I will trouble you to send me and Sister Strawn there. As a paramecia who has the ability to squeeze fruit, she is more confident in her own strength. I feel that with myself and Strawn, it is enough to easily solve the Marine on the other frigate. Not to mention, Fingoli's own combat power is not too weak. Crazy. The snow-white mastiff growled. It turned into a huge snow-white eagle, majestic and majestic. Although Snarman and Strawn were only 16 years old, they jumped up unceremoniously because they were already 3 meters tall and had long legs. Wu, with 2 people on his back, flapped his wings vigorously. Accompanied by violent wind pressure, it carried the two sisters Strong and Snaeman. Quickly rushed towards another marine frigate on the opposite side. It's time for me to act, I can't capsize in the gutter. Wilhelm chuckled. The whole person rushed up like lightning, and ran out violently. Who? It was like a silver-white lightning flashing straight across the sea, rushing towards the leading marine battleship at an astonishing speed. Relying on his strong jumping ability, he actually managed to cross the distance of hundreds of meters. What? Leading the battleship. The sudden change made Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral, the Ghost Spider, change color directly. He looked towards his rear in disbelief, and looked at the pirates who had already begun to join the frigate on the left and started fighting with his own marine personnel. His pupils shrank sharply, startled and angry. Damn it, is it devil fruit ability? Everyone is alert and ready to meet the enemy. Fire and sink their pirate ship. Some marine personnel, inevitably panicked. But after all, it is a well-trained marine elite, and with Vice Admiral of the Naval Headquarters, the Ghost Spider, sitting in charge, he quickly calmed down. That's. At this moment, before the future was ready to turn the guns on the battleship, many Marines widened their eyes and opened their mouths. Looking at the silver-white lightning, the figure, flying from the sea surface, spanned a distance of hundreds of meters in a blink of an eye. Shocked beyond words. That figure. He flew over. The whole army is on alert, the enemy is attacking. Fire. Shoot him. Bang bang. On the huge battleship. Looking at the horizontal sky, coming from the sea, he had already crossed the hundreds of meters wide sea level in the blink of an eye, and landed steadily on the silver-white figure on the deck. On the deck at the stern, many elite Marines who reacted immediately fired without hesitation. Interesting, young Yingwei's figure. Looking at the Marines rushing towards them, Wilhelm sneered. Then, I'm not welcome. The 7-star sword had been unsheathed at some point. On the edge of the sword, there were bursts of strange green light. Swipe. The next moment, like a whirlwind, it accelerated violently. The whole person turned into an afterimage, too fast to see clearly. Disappeared from their sight. Shish. Countless bullets galloped, but it couldn't hit Wilhelm's swift figure at all. That's not the ability to transfer the fruit, but simply reaching the speed of ultimate. Like a hurricane, the naked eye could not capture his trajectory at all. Alas, chi, blood spatter. A Marine screamed. An astonishing gust of wind, blowing like lightning. It's like the legendary Kamaitachi hurricane that can harvest life. These Marines died in terror. Not only did they not even have to see the appearance of the enemy clearly. He couldn't even react. He fell directly into a pool of blood. Because it is too fast. All of this happened only in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, the Marines around all changed their complexions drastically. There was a bone-chilling chill in my heart, and I was a little frightened and uneasy. Hateful. Damn pirates. Too fast. Completely invisible. Impossible to hit. A Marine was terrified. Gritting his teeth without hesitation, he raised his gun and fired wildly in all directions. Bang bang bang. Did the bullet hit Wilhelm's figure? But, in the blink of an eye, a silver-white afterimage flashed by like lightning. More than a dozen Marines screamed and fell in a pool of blood. Death is frightening. Too arrogant, bastard. At this time, the Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral Ghost Spider at the bow of the ship rushed over immediately with people. Holding the blade, he was extremely shocked and angry. However, Wilhelm didn't stop killing. Nearly reaching the figure of ultimate, like silver lightning, continuously streaking across Marine's team. Shish. In a blink of an eye. A hurricane hits, accompanied by bursts of chilling screams. Dozens of hundreds of Marines fell directly in a pool of blood. Life and death are unknown, the scene is horrifying. Looking at a name lying there, looking terrified of death, Marine with a dazed and unbelievable expression. Following the Ghost Spider, the Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters, the Marines who were about to rush over couldn't help gushing out a bone-chilling chill. Even the Ghost Spider himself couldn't help shrinking his pupils, startled and angry. Brush, at this time, another hurricane hit. Without warning. Kang, sparks sputtered. The Ghost Spider, which has experienced many battles, has its hairs standing on end. Holding up the blade, Kankan blocked Wilhelm's astonishingly fast and unpredictable attack. A long sword with a strange pattern filled with a strange atmosphere. It was barely held by two blades. The extremely sharp blade, with bursts of chilling chill, exudes a strange green brilliance. From the ghost spider's cheek, there was a thin bloodstain. Crack. His eyes were wide open, and his arms were bulging with veins. Gritting his teeth, he tried his best to block the sword edge that kept pressing down, as if it wanted to cut off his head little by little. The exaggerated strength made the ghost spider vice admiral, who was struggling to catch off guard, couldn't help but backed up a few steps. Fang managed to let go of the astonishing strange force, and barely stabilized his figure. The heavy footsteps made the reinforced deck covered with 2 additional layers of iron sheets start to rattle and crack. And almost at the same time, the dozen or so Marines around the ghost spider coincidentally let out a scream. Plop, plop, one after another fell there. There were shocking bloodstains on everyone's neck. The blood gurgled and flowed continuously. Monster. This extremely horrifying scene. All the Marines present could not help but become terrified. All of them turned pale and backed away in fright, panicked and at a loss. Obviously, the opponent didn't just attack the ghost spider vice admiral just now, but also targeted other people around him at the same time. It's just scary, they didn't even react. In the blink of an eye, the ghost spider vice admiral was in a stalemate with the murderer who appeared suddenly. Immediately afterwards, all the companions around were screaming and falling in a pool of blood. During the whole process, no one could see clearly how that terrifying silver-white figure made a move. Hateful. The face of the ghost spider, which looked like a ghost, was full of solemnity and fright. With sinister eyes, he stared at the culprit in front of him. Unbelievably handsome, a little immature, but incomparably cold, like a knife-sharpened face. She has long silver-white hair, that kind of innate nobility, and gorgeous costumes. How is this possible? In an instant, his eyes narrowed sharply. Full of shock, some couldn't believe it. Such horrific casualties had been inflicted on Marine in the space of a few moments before. Moreover, the elusive, unpredictable, and incomparably tricky attack, the culprit who made him, the experienced Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral, almost unable to defend against, was actually just an unbelievably young boy. However, the tingling jaws of both hands. There are also 2 blades coming from time to time, the huge pressure that almost made him let go. But tell him the truth. All this was indeed caused by this extremely mysterious young man. Such astonishing power. When did the Big Mom pirates have an extra young monster like this? Ghost Spider gritted his teeth, with fierce eyes, wondering. Who are you? Who did I think it was? Wilhelm looked at the Marine Vice Admiral in front of him, and recognized him. It turns out to be Vice Admiral, the famous Ghost Spider who has made countless pirates fearful. Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral Ghost Spider, former student of Admiral of Headquarters Black Arm Zephyr. He is currently one of the more famous generals of the new generation in the Marine, except Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji, who have monster-like strength and have Admiral alternate qualifications. This person does have quite a reputation in New World. His style of acting is known for being ruthless and ruthless. One of the well-known representatives of the Hawks in Marine. When eradicating pirates, in order to achieve their goals, they often resort to unscrupulous means. Even if it causes casualties to civilians or even our own Marine personnel, we don't hesitate to do so, and we have no scruples. Many pirates who didn't get any benefits from him, or who suffered a lot, turned pale at his reputation. He gritted his teeth with hatred. It's impossible for a guy like you to be unknown in the sea. The Ghost Spider has a gloomy face, extremely gloomy. He clearly heard the ridicule towards himself from the other party's tone. But after all, he was fighting countless pirates on the front line, and the senior general who stood out from the huge Marine naturally couldn't be easily irritated and lost his mind. As Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters, he still knows the situation of Big Mom pirates very well. It was a pirate group built by Big Mom, the big pirate, with family as the core and blood as the bond. The pirates under the banner are either the children of the Charlotte family or the in-laws of the Charlotte family. The young man in front of him could never be Charlotte Linlin's son-in-law. Naval Headquarters is not currently looking for him, and has not released a reward list for the other party. Obviously, he is a young member of the Charlotte family who has not yet officially debuted. The Ghost Spider was frightened and angry, and his mind changed sharply. After some guesses about Wilhelm's identity, he couldn't help but feel a little awe-inspiring. It is rumored that in the Charlotte family, there is a son who claims to have perfectly inherited the talent of Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin, and is an out-and-out natural monster. He looked directly at Wilhelm in front of him, and said in a deep voice, "All along, Marine thought it was just a rumor, but it turned out to be true." He looked at this handsome, unbelievably young, but surprisingly powerful silver-haired boy. Ghost Spider's heart sank. It seems that the rumors are obviously true. In the pirate world, what inhuman monsters, what is invincible in the world, what is undefeated, what is the strongest in the world? In order to make their name in the world and even in the Grand Line, some self-esteemed people who look at the sky from the bottom of a well, or don't care about it, often spare no effort to promote, show off, and boast, and give them such and such titles in an attempt to deceive and deter those ignorant people and Marines. In a disguised form to attract those pirates to vote, there are countless examples like this. Over the years, Marine has encountered too many similar news, and it is difficult to distinguish the true from the false. Really recognized as monster, legendary pirate, world's strongest man, or something. There are only a few big pirates who really stand at the top, and there are only a handful of them. Like a steel balloon, the invulnerable Big Mom himself is, of course, an out-and-out natural monster. But her children, Marine is not without dealing with. Even Katakuri, the second son of the Charlotte family, who is touted as the highest masterpiece of the Charlotte family, and the strongest general of the Big Mom pirates, is not yet 30 years old. After all, he is too young. Although the strength is good, it is far from being as terrifyingly strong as Charlotte Linlin, and even the highest combat power of naval headquarters is afraid of it. Therefore, for a long time, there have been rumors about the shuddering nobleman in the Big Mom pirate group. Marine didn't pay much attention to it, but obviously, they miscalculated. The Big Mom pirates may actually have a natural monster like Charlotte Linlin. At the age of 15 or 16, he already possessed such terrifying strength. This terrifying talent is indeed quite amazing. Once it grows up, I'm afraid it will be a real monster again. There is no doubt that the Big Mom pirates will be a huge threat to naval headquarters and the world government at that time. Scrub. Kang lang lang. A dazzling cold light flashed. I saw flashes of light and flint, without warning. The Ghost Spider, who was confronting Wilhelm and guessed his identity, made a surprise move. Although he didn't move at all, his hair grew and surged at a speed visible to the naked eye. As if they had a sense of their own life, they gathered into extremely black hands. In the blink of an eye, a total of 6 blades were pulled out from the wide Marine cloak. Manipulating them, all slashed towards Wilhelm in front of him. His life returned. Interesting. Wilhelm, who had been prepared for a long time, retreated like lightning. His observation hockey, which he has been working on for years, is no show. He easily avoided the 6 blades that sealed off every corner and attacked quickly. You, the natural monster of the Charlotte family, are indeed amazing, but in the name of justice, I will keep you here today, exuding a murderous intent. Take the initiative to attack. Bu Rao rushed forward, full of murderous intent. Holding 2 knives in both hands, with the 6 knives manipulated by the hair, entangled with armament hockey, and displaying his proud swordsmanship 8-knife style. Dangerous and weird, it is hard to guard against. Returning life combined with swordsmanship, manipulating hair to perform 8 sword style, after all, Vice Admiral of Naval Headquarters still has some strength. Wilhelm raised an eyebrow. A little surprised, but not panicked at all. Relying on the prediction of observation hockey, he calmly dodged and blocked the dazzling and overwhelming offensive of the Ghost Spider. You brat, don't underestimate Marine, the Ghost Spider shouted angrily. Gathering strength there, the 8 blades violently tore through the atmosphere and swung out. Whoa, whoosh. A series of light green slashes pierced through the air at an astonishing speed. It was extremely sharp and struck towards Wilhelm. Yes. The corners of Wilhelm's mouth curled up. Holding the 7-star sword in his hand, he slashed out suddenly. Hey! A half-moon-shaped slash more than 10 meters wide appeared out of thin air. It directly collided with the slashing attacks from the 8 attacks. Boom. Woo-hoo-hoo. The wind raged. Wilhelm's silver hair fluttered. Observation hockey cooperated with that sharp gaze and locked on the Ghost Spider in front of him. Shave. Ghost Spider stomped on his feet. The whole person disappeared in place like lightning, and rushed in front of Wilhelm in an instant. Kang. Jianhua raised violently. A green glowing blade wraps around armament hockey. With perfect precision, he pushed aside the 8 pitch black blades that suddenly rushed in front of him, chopping at him in unison. Hey! The dark green blade of the sword, which looked extremely strange, stabbed out like lightning at an extremely tricky angle. Directly attack its vitals, making the Ghost Spider's hairs stand on end. Hastily gave up the attack and returned to the defense to block. Clang. Clang. Sparks splash. The sound of gold and iron clashing was extremely ear-piercing. The cold light shone, and the blades kept colliding. Just as the two figures were staggered, they rushed together like lightning and launched a fierce confrontation, which was astonishingly fast. Although Ghost Spider, Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral's 8-sword style is indeed amazing, Wilhelm kept waving the 7-star sword to meet him. Relying on its own tyrannical strength and ghostly speed. Even if he hasn't really gone all out, facing the elite Vice Admiral in Naval Headquarters, he is still able to do a job with ease and steadily overwhelm the opponent. From time to time, bloody mouths were drawn on the Ghost Spider's body. Although it is not fatal, it is actually extremely dangerous, with hidden murderous intentions, which makes the Ghost Spider feel cold, and the pressure is greatly increased. Several times it could be said that there was danger everywhere. As long as his reaction was a little slower, the blade of the 7-star sword would not just pass through those insignificant positions, but the eyes, throat, heart and other fatal vital points.